Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Aiden Doyle.
Back here at Veterans Field in Chatham, where we've got an interesting situation. Coach Jamie Shevchik jogging out to the mound, and now Zach Lingenfelter jogging off of the pitcher's mound. Lingenfelter was slated to get his first start for the Whitecaps here today in Chatham, and it appears as though that will not be the case. The right-hander Paulie Milto out of Indiana University taking the mound now for the Whitecaps. So we'll get our very own Maura Sheridan. She'll try and check out what is going on here, because that is an interesting development. Everyone was geared up to see Lingenfelter here.
And he took his warm-up pitches, correct? He was out there and then I guess decided he didn't have it. Obviously, the safety of the players is the primary concern if you're a coach or anybody involved in the league, especially a summer league like this, but that's quite unusual. And now Paulie Milto is just going to start taking his warm-ups, and he has become, it appears, the Brewster Whitecaps starting pitcher.
An interesting situation. I believe that's probably the first time I've ever seen that, is that not even, getting a real pitch into the game. I mean, he didn't face a single batter, just taking his warm-up pitches. Obviously, he warmed up before the game in the bullpen down the right field line and came out to the mound here at Veterans Field and clearly wasn't good to go. So Lingenfelter retreating back to the first base dugout, and now the right-hander Milto taking over on the mound for Brewster. Milto, right-handed pitcher out of Indiana. He's appeared in one game so far for the Whitecaps, and he pitched well. Went 3 2/3 innings in relief, gave up just 2 hits, one of them a home run, so an earned run there. But that was at Red Wilson Field, and it was a home run to straightaway center off the bat of Carlos Cortez. And if anyone knows Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth, it's about 350 feet to dead center. So Coach Shevchik said, in any other ballpark of the country, that's an out.
That is, and he's one of a really fun pitcher to watch when Paulie Milto's up. He's one of those guys who likes to pitch backwards, can start off a lot of hitters with the breaking ball, and then that sets them up for the fastball, which is high 80s, 87 to 90 miles per hour. He really relies on that swing and miss breaking stuff, which was working pretty well in that outing you were talking about. And now it's a totally different situation. I mean, I know that Jamie Shevchik was thinking about sending Lingenfelter for 6 innings, and now I'm not sure if he can say the same for Milto. We'll see. Maybe he will be able to pull it off, but it sounds like the game plan might be getting thrown out the window here for Shevchik and the Whitecaps.
Yeah, you never want to obviously see any player come out of a game due to a reason other than maybe a poor performance, but this is huge for Brewster because, like you mentioned, they were relying on Lingenfelter to go, at least 4 or 5 innings, hopefully 6 plus. And he's been one of the best arms for this Whitecaps team thus far this season. So for him to not be able to go today, that is a huge blow. And we talk about, this Brewster bullpen. They've been worked a little bit more than they had been in the last couple of games than they had earlier on in the season. Connor Higgins, J.R. McDermott each went 5 innings. Yesterday, Losi went 5, but they struggled a bit yesterday. So they used 3 arms. So they're a little bit low on bullpen arms that are going to be able to go in this game. Obviously, Davis Daniel just activated yesterday out of Auburn University, but he's slated to start, I believe, either tomorrow or the day after that.
Yeah, he's ready to go tomorrow, doubleheader.
Yeah, I believe it's game number 1, doubleheader.
That tomorrow? I don't remember off the top of my head, but he is scheduled to start in one of those 2 games. So
you got to believe, though, that then he won't be available for this game. And so the number of arms that Coach Shevchik has available here in Chatham just got a little bit shorter. Paulie Milto's first pitch to the leadoff man, DJ Artis, over the outer edge for strike 1. And now we'll quickly send it over to our very own Maura Sheridan, who has an update on Lingenfelter.
Well, guys, the answer I got from the coaching staff was a little bit vague, but they did say that it's just an upper body injury. They don't want to risk anything with him today. He was feeling okay before he went out there, and now he just got out to the mound and said, "Coach, I don't think I can do this." They don't want to take any chances with him right now. They want him better as the season goes on. So they're just going to send Milto out there. That's the answer that I got. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Maura. As 1-2 the count on DJ Artis, leadoff man for Chatham. Milto working from the stretch, primarily a reliever for Indiana. So common for relievers to just strictly work out of the stretch as Artis fouls another one away. And so the update on Lingenfelter, Coach Shevchik just really playing it safe there, not taking any chances. Obviously still very early in this season, Whitecaps have played just 8 games thus far, still have 36 more to go. And Lingenfelter, a permanent contract guy, one of the power arms in this Whitecap staff. You don't want to risk anything today and have it really bite you, later on in the season, as this pitch roped into center field for a base hit. DJ Artis starts things off against Milto with a single to center field, and the Anglers have the leadoff man aboard here in the bottom of the first.
And also, I think as much as this season is important to Coach Chev and everybody in the Whitecaps dugout, you got to be thinking as well about the rest of Lingenfelter's career. You don't want, a summer league appearance to wind up hampering him later on, and I'm sure that he knows that, and that's one of the things that was part of the calculus there. And good on Lingenfelter if he realized that there was something up with him. A lot of times, pitchers will try and gut through it to try and show some mettle or grit or something, but he recognized something was wrong.
First pitch from Milto to the number 2 hitter, Josh Shaw, over the outer edge for strike 1. Shaw, the second baseman for Chatham out of St. John's University. Off to an excellent start here on the Cape, batting .423 in 6 games, 11 hits, 4 RBI. 0-1 from Milto. Fastball misses outside, evens the count at 1-1. Artis leading off first base. He does have a stolen base this season. You got to believe if he's a leadoff man, he is a threat to steal. He's got a big lead over there at first, and he takes off. Breaking ball from Milto, misses high. Throw down to second from the catcher. In time, Coons throws him out at second base. The throw is a little bit high, but an excellent tag from Connor Smith, and the leadoff single is quickly erased on the caught stealing by Justin Coons.
Boy, Justin Coons can do it all. I mean, we've seen that. We saw that a couple of days ago in YD when he was able to pull that off. He has been terrific defensively behind the plate for Brewster so far this season. Another great throw there.
And now the 2-1 to Shaw. This one catches the outside corner, evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And for Katuitt, they're now 4 out of 10 as a team stealing bases. That's the worst for Chatham, that's the worst in the league.
This one hits softly in between short and third. Daughtris gets his glove on it, but he stumbles a bit and won't be able to make the throw over to first. So Josh Shaw aboard with the Anglers' second hit of the day, it looks like.
Yeah, that was right in the hole, and that's, I think, a right play decision there by Daughtris to field that, because if Raffanino gets it, he's going to have to move one way and throw another, though they are chatting just a bit as Jacob Olson digs in.
And it is indeed ruled a single, which is obviously the right call there. Daughtris would have been a tough play anyways. First pitch from Milto to the number 3 hitter, Olson. This is downstairs. They appeal to the first base umpire as to whether or not Olson was able to check his swing, and he says he did, so the count is 1-0 on the right fielder out of South Carolina. Milto working from the stretch. 1-0 pitch, get down and away for ball 2. Olson, listed as a shortstop on the Anglers roster, gets to start in right field today for Coach John Schiffner. 2-1 count. And the pitch from Milto misses outside. 3-1 now on Olson.
It's always something that's so valuable in a college prospect. Olson, with the Gamecocks this past year, was primarily where he is tonight in right field. He's been all over the place so far for the Anglers, especially for a summer league team where the roster is changing. That's a great asset to have, a guy who's good at the plate too.
Cut on and missed by Olson. Breaking ball there from Milto, down and away. And so now the count runs full on Olson. Just kind of waved at that one. I don't think it really was ever a strike. But a good job by Milto getting him to chase, and an interesting pitch there in a 3-1 count going to the breaking ball. Either way, full count, payoff pitch. This one misses downstairs. Okay, so the scoreboard said 3-1. It was indeed 2-1. And so that pitch missed down and away, and now it's a full count. Glad we got that cleared up. Full count on Olson. And the pitch cut on and missed. The runner goes, and they've got him caught in between first and second. Throw from Coons to Smith, and now they've got him on a rundown. Throw to Gasper, who tags out Shaw. So the Anglers get 2 singles. Neither one of them makes it to second base, as after giving up 2 hits, it's a 1-2-3 inning. An interesting inning. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, nobody left on base for the Anglers after an inning here at Veterans Field. Whitecaps on top of Chatham. 1-0. Keep it right here. You're listening to Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wedeel and Aiden Doyle.
Back here in Chatham, where the Whitecaps hold a 1-0 lead over the Chatham Anglers. It'll be 7, 8, and 9 in the Brewster order against the left-handed starter, Jeff Belge, for the Anglers, who deals a first-pitch fastball to Marty Costas for strike one. 0-1 breaking ball from Belge, misses downstairs, so the count evens at 1-1. Costas getting the start in center field tonight for Brewster. Right-handed hitting outfielder out of the University of Maryland. Comes into this ball game batting .231 on the young season. And this pitch, breaking ball, plunks him in the left thigh, so he'll head on down to first base. And for the second consecutive inning, the Whitecaps have the leadoff man aboard.
Yeah, Costas was hit by a pitch in his last plate appearance last night against Katuitt, so that's back-to-back plunkings in his last two plate appearances. I'm sure he'll take the extra ticks to his on-base percentage.
That'll bring up Justin Coons, right-handed hitting catcher out of Gardner-Webb, who made two great throws in the bottom of the first inning. One to throw out as this one's hit on the ground sharply towards third. Diving stop by Palomaki. Throw to second. It takes the second baseman Shaw off the bag. Throw on to first, not in time. And so what would have been a tough double play results in no outs for the Anglers, and now two men aboard to start things off in the top of the second for Brewster.
That's a tough break. It was a terrific play by Palomaki just to knock that baseball down, but couldn't quite get the double play turn. Both of those plays were close, but both safe. And now Brewster knocking at the door again.
Now the number 9 hitter, switch hitting left fielder Devin Foyle out of the University of Kansas steps in infield, or excuse me, the corners in for Chatham. Middle infield playing back at double play depth. Foyle, a switch hitter, batting right-handed against the left-handed throwing Belge. Belge will step off the mound as Costas was a bit too far off of second, but he gets back safely. Belge working from the stretch, comes set, and the first pitch shows bunt, takes it back and takes it for strike one. So 0-1 now the count on Foyle.
Yeah, if ever there was a bunting situation, I suppose this would be it. You got your number 9 hitter up and 2 on and nobody out.
0-1 count on Foyle, originally from Arizona, but decided to play his college ball in Lawrence, Kansas for the Jayhawks. Belge takes a little off that one, misses downstairs for the off-speed pitch. 1-1 now the count on Foyle. And Foyle originally from Fountain Hills, Arizona, attended Fountain Hills High School, and in 2015 was the Arizona High School Player of the Year, and actually a Gatorade National Player of the Year nominee. He bunts this one straight back to Belge, who has trouble fielding it. Throw on to first base, not in time. Foyle beats it out, so Belge had trouble fielding it, kind of came up, hit him in the chest, and then fell back down to the ground. And Foyle, with good speed, safe at first base, and now with nobody down, the Whitecaps have the bases loaded for probably the hottest hitter in the lineup, A.J. Graffinino.
And they're putting that in the book as an E1, and that's a tough way to do it if you're a pitcher. No hits, and the bases are loaded with nobody out despite that for, as you said, the top of the Whitecap order.
Graffinino 1 for 1 on the day, scored Brewster's only run of the game so far. And the first pitch, hit on the ground right back up the middle, backhanded by Shaw. Glove flip to second, in-time throw on to first is in time as well. So a fancy double play from the Chatham Anglers, but a run comes home. Marty Costas scores on the 4-6-3 double play. And now Brewster takes a 2-0 lead with 2 down in the top of the second.
It's one of those runs where it seems like the scoreboard is rebelling against it. There's no RBI and it's unearned, but it's a run all the same, and it doubles Brewster's lead. Like you were saying, Aiden, at the start of the show, they have been getting to Belge early, even if it isn't with hard contact necessarily.
Now the number 2 hitter, Kyle Daughtris, digs in for Brewster. Coons advanced to third on the play, so Whitecaps still have a runner in scoring position. As Daughtris looks at a first pitch breaking ball from Belge, outside for ball 1. Daughtris 0 for 1 on his evening, struck out swinging for out number 1 in the first. And chases a high fastball out of the zone for strike 2.
That was a good pitch. One of the better pitches that we've seen so far from Belge, I think. Just running that one up there for Coons, and he couldn't resist chasing at it. Let's see if he can get ahead in the count again.
1-1 count. Fastball from Belge. This one misses inside. Now 2-1 on the third baseman, originally from Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Belge working through the windup. Now a 2-1 breaking ball misses down and in, and Daughters ahead in the count, 3 balls, 1 strike. Three-one. Fastball from Belge misses down and in, and so Daughters works a walk, and so now the Whitecaps have runners on the corners for Mickey Gasper, the number 3 hitter, who has the team's only RBI of the game.
Yeah, he was able to fool him there with that fastball, and then the rest of the at-bat didn't really get too close to the zone. Pretty easy for Daughters to work that walk. Good job for him, not trying to chase after anything, still looking for his first run batted in of the season is the Brewster third baseman.
Mickey Gasper digging in again from the right side against the left-handed throwing Belge. First pitch rope back up the middle off of the glove of Belge. It'll kick in between short and third and allow a run to score. So Mickey Gasper roped that one right back up the middle, and it ricocheted off of the glove of Belge. And the shortstop Pena was moving towards second base, had to immediately change directions, and obviously didn't have a play there. So another run crosses the plate, and quickly the Whitecaps are up 3-0 in the top of the second.
Boy, this is a tough way to give up 3 runs if you're a Belge, as we see John Schiffner coming out to have a chat with him right now. This is, obviously made the right play, I think, stuck out the glove hand, and would have had an easy play if he'd been able to recover that. It is scored a hit because of that, but just kind of a fluke play, and we've seen a couple of fluke plays in this inning, if I do say so myself. We saw that fielder's choice ground ball from Coons. We saw the error on Belge himself that allowed Foyle to reach. Been a strange frame, but Brewster will take the early runs. A 3-0 early lead is a 3-0 early lead. I'm sure Jamie Shevchik is happy with that output. But a very strange way to put across 3 for Brewster.
Some strange innings so far. If you remember the bottom of the first inning for Chatham, led off the game with 2 singles, and had 1 caught stealing, then got another one in a pickoff. Both runners going here on a looked like almost a delayed steal.
They got such a great jump out of that. Caught him sleeping. Second and third.
So now 2 runners in scoring position for Brewster for the number 4 hitter Michael Curry. And the pitch from Belge. This one lifted in the air high down the right field line, but slicing foul. So the count even at 1-1 now to the Georgia Bulldog.
Brewster has only gotten the ball out of the infield once in this game, or twice, excuse me. The single from Graffinino and then the sac fly 2 hitters later.
This one fouled back again right towards the Whitecaps on deck circle, so 1-2 now the count on Curry.
And those were 2 of the first 3 hitters of the game, and the rest has been walks, infield singles, fielder's choice ground balls, and 3 runs.
Curry fouls off another one, breaking ball there from Belge. Three to nothing the score here at Veterans Field. 1-2 count on Michael Curry. And the pitch from Belge. Breaking ball in there, strike 3, froze him with the curveball. So Curry goes down looking, but the Whitecaps get another 2 runs. One comes on a double play that allowed Marty Costas to score, and then Mickey Gasper drives in his 2nd run of the game with a single that ricocheted off of the glove of the Chatham starter Belge after 1.5 here at Veterans Field. Whitecaps 3, Anglers nothing. Keep it right here. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Back here at Veterans Field in Chatham, it'll be 4, 5, and 6 due up for the Anglers against Pauly Milto. 3-0 the score. Brewster on top of Chatham as the sun continues to set here at Veterans Field over the left field trees. And the first pitch from Milto to Nick Patton in there for strike one over the outer edge. Patton getting the start at left field for the Anglers tonight. Listed as a first baseman on their roster, though, out of the University of Delaware. 0-1 from Milto. Ripped towards third. Hop up high for Daughters. Long throw onto first in time for out number one. A nice play there by Kyle Daughters.
Terrific play. That's a star in the book. He had to reach up. A tricky hop. That one looked like it might have caught the area right where the infield grass meets the dirt, and Daughters handled it beautifully for the out.
So one down in the bottom of the second inning. That'll bring up Shea Langliers, the DH for Chatham today. One of the Baylor Bears, originally from Keller, Texas. Batting .273 on the season in 3 games. Does have a home run. And now looks at a first pitch fastball from Milto for strike one. Langliers, a right-handed hitter against the right-handed throwing Milto, who from the stretch fires an 0-1 fastball, cut on and missed by Langliers, and the Hoosier is quickly in the driver's seat.
Yeah, you don't see that a ton from Milto, coming out and controlling an at-bat with the fastball. You have to feel like a breaking pitch is coming here, 0-2.
0-2 the count, like you mentioned, Carter. And the pitch from Milto. This one lifted in the air down the right field line. Gasper giving chase, but it'll fall out of play. That was a fastball there from Milto.
Yeah, shows how much I know. Ran back the same pitch.
So the count stays 0-2. Langliers listed at 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, so an even 6 feet and an even 200. Milto looking into his catcher, Coons. Now comes set, and the 0-2. Caught on and missed. Looks like Langliers got a piece of it, but Coons able to hang on, so Milto gets his second strikeout of the ballgame, and there's quickly 2 down here in the bottom of the second.
And it looked like that was a fastball, too, so give Pauly Milto some credit, leaning on the heat to get that second strikeout of the game.
And now the number 6 hitter, Cody Roberts, who's been excellent behind the dish for Chatham thus far. Had plenty of pitches in the dirt to try and block. He lifts this one in the air down the right field line, but slicing foul and out of play. Roberts, the catcher out of the University of North Carolina. Originally from Johns Creek, Georgia, but decided to play his college ball a little bit northeast of Johns Creek up in Chapel Hill. Teammate of Whitecap third baseman Kyle Daughters. 0-1 count, breaking ball hit on the ground towards short. Fielded on a hop by Graffinino. High throw, but Gasper able to bring it down for out number 3. So Milto, 2 consecutive 1-2-3 innings. This one a little bit more conventional than the first one. No runs on no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. We've played 2 in Chatham. Whitecaps on top of the Anglers 3-0. Keep it right here. You're locked in to Whitecaps baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wedeel and Aiden Doyle.
3-0 the score here at Veterans Field in Chatham. Whitecaps on top of the Anglers as we move to the top of the third inning. Welcome back, everyone, and for those of you just joining us, thank you for tuning in to another edition of Brewster Whitecaps baseball here on the Whitecaps Radio Network. I'm Aiden Doyle alongside Carter Wedeel. It'll be 5, 6, and 7 due up for the Caps, starting off with Cesar Trejo, right fielder out of UNC Greensboro. First pitch swinging, lifts this one in the air down the right field line, but slicing foul and out of play. Jeff Belge still on the mound for the Anglers. He's allowed 3 runs, only one of them earned, though, in 2 innings. Walked 2 and struck out 2. 0-1 count to Trejo. Takes a cut at that fastball and fouls it straight back over the netting, so quickly 0-2 on the Whitecaps right fielder. Belge looking into Roberts. Now through the windup. This one lifted in the air into shallow right field. Moving to his left is Shaw, and he puts it away over the shoulder for out number 1.
Nice running play there from Shaw. The sun looking like it's just about ready to check out for this game, but there still is a little bit of patch of sun right over there where he was running in the shallow right field.
The lights are on here at Veterans Field. Veterans Field, one of the 7 ballparks on the Cape that does have lights. Only YD, Katuitt, and Brewster do not. And now the number 6 hitter, Connor Smith, digs in. Fouls the first pitch back to the backstop for strike number 1.
That was a nice first pitch bender there from Belge. Fooled him.
Belge looking at the Roberts. Now through the windup and the 0-1 pitch. Fastball misses high. Count evens 1 ball and 1 strike. Smith 0 for 1 on the day. Grounded back to Belge to end the first inning. And now the 1-1. Another breaking ball. This one looped foul down the right field line. Smith, one of the Broncos out of Western Michigan University. Originally from Midland, Michigan. Decided to stay in-state and plays college ball in Kalamazoo. Fastball from Belge. This one misses below the knees, so the count evens 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two-two count. Belge through the windup and deals a fastball cut on and missed by Smith. He goes down swinging for out number 2.
So Smith starts the AB by being fooled by the breaking ball and ends it being fooled by that fastball. Well, maybe one of the reasons why he's gripping that bat a little bit tightly as he walks back to the dugout. So far, Belge has looked pretty good on the mound. I mean, you're talking about how he's given up those 3 runs, but only one of them was earned. Even that was a pretty weird one.
Marty Costa steps in, first pitch swinging, hits a weak ground ball to the first baseman Edens, who takes it himself to the first for out number 3. So 1, 2, 3 go the Whitecaps in the top of the third. It's the first inning in which they fail to score. No runs on no hits, no errors, no one left on base. After 2.5 in Chatham, it's 3-0 Whitecaps over the Anglers. Keep it right here. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Brewster Whitecaps Radio Network.
Do you know what that sound is? That's your new digital marketing department. And that'll be your new web designer. And that's Haibu, where these experts are joined by many more, from web designers to search marketing specialists, who work hard to get your business noticed online and on mobile. Best of all, Haibu can do it all for you, or give you the tools to do it yourself. To find out more, go to haibu.com. That's HIBU.com. Or call 855-464-HIBU. Oh, that'll be your next new customer. Haibu, made for business.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wedeel and Aiden Doyle.
3-0 the score at Veterans Field in Chatham. The Brewster Whitecaps lead the Chatham Anglers, and Paulie Milto on the mound for the Whitecaps. He'll face the bottom of the Anglers order. It'll be 7, 8, and 9 with the first baseman Austin Edens leading things off for Chatham. First pitch swinging fouls this one off down the right field line and out of play. Great crowd here in Chatham tonight. Veterans Field packed as always. And the 0-1 from Milto. This one misses off the plate, evens count at 1-1. Milto, after replacing Zach Lingenfelter, who threw a few warm-up pitches before the game, was originally slated to get the start, but left the game with, as Mora said, some upper body discomfort as Edens fouls this one off and out of play. So now 1-2 the count on the first baseman out of Sanford. So Milto comes in, not expecting to obviously enter the game that early before even a pitch has been thrown, and has worked 2 scoreless thus far, only giving up 2 hits. 1-2 count. This one roped into center field. Will it hang up for Costas? It will. He charges in and makes the play for out number 1.
Thought for a minute you jinxed him there, Aiden. But
I did too, trust me.
But it's very important for Milto coming in. When you were talking about, very interestingly, how there's not a lot of folks who can go right now for Jamie Shevchik's club. They needed length out of their starter, and so far he's been economical. He's faced the minimum 7 now with 1 out here in the 3rd.
And if you're wondering just how long Milto can go, his season high this year at Indiana was 7 1/3. This one bunted down the third base line. It's a good one, fielded by Milto. He won't have a play at first base. So the shortstop and number 8 hitter, Jeremy Pena, picks up a 1-out bunt single. And with 1 down, the Anglers have a man aboard for the number 9 hitter, Jake Palomaki.
And if you're going to get any way you can get a hit, you'll take it right now if you're Chatham. A gorgeous bunt. That one looked like it got hung up in the infield grass for a moment or two. But all Milto could do was just take a bite out of it.
Palomaki digging into the left-handed batter's box for the Anglers. A switch hitter batting left against the right-handed throwing Milto. As Pena leads off of first base. 1 down here in the bottom of the 3rd. First pitch from Milto misses high and outside for ball 1. Palomaki so far this year for Chatham, batting .250 in 7 games, 6 hits, 2 doubles, 2 RBI. As Milto throws over to first, Pena dives back easily.
Pena has not tried to steal a base so far this year, but showed some nice speed. I think you'd agree on that bunt attempt, so maybe a chance we see Coons' arm get tested again.
1-0 count. And Milto misses upstairs with a fastball, now 2-0 on Palomaki. I'm not sure why anyone at this point would try to run on Justin Coons. He has literally, I believe, thrown out every single one who's tried.
Yeah, except for the one error that we saw. You're right, the one error in YD.
2-0 count as Milto misses down and away with a fastball. So now 3-0 on the number 9 hitter, Palomaki, and this is not a guy who Coach Jamie Shevchik wants to see Paulie Milto walk with already a man aboard. Milto working from the stretch, now comes set, kicks in the 3-0. Just pours one over the heart of the plate there for strike 1. Took a little off that fastball.
And even that one throw that went for an error against the Red Sox from Coons, that was in time to beat the runner. It just skipped in front of the bag and wound up in center.
3-1 count. Milto comes set. Kicks and 3-1, a breaking ball. This one misses in the dirt for ball 4. So now the Anglers have 2 men aboard for the first time today.
And it's funny, this is the 4th base runner in the game for Chatham, and only 3 of those have left the infield. They've got a pair of infield singles and now that walk. So both sides really relying on what's going on inside the baselines to get their runners on base so far in this game. Been a strange game of baseball.
Now it's back to the top of the order for Chatham. DJ Artis back in the left-handed batter's box for the Anglers. First pitch from Milto misses downstairs for ball 1. Artis singled to lead things off in the bottom of the 1st and then was caught stealing by Coons. Bats here now with 2 men aboard for the Anglers. As Pena leads off of 2nd, Palomaki off of 1st. Milto comes set. And a 1-0 breaking ball misses inside for ball 2. And now Justin Coons will jog out to the mound to have a chat with the righty out of Indiana.
By my count, we've seen only 3 baseballs leave the infield so far in this game. The single from Graffinino for Brewster to start the game, the sac fly from Gasper to bring in the run. and then that line drive to center field off the bat of Edens here in this third inning. I don't know if you have some more to add, Aiden.
The shallow pop-up that Shaw caught over his shoulder, I mean, it was
Wasn't shallow, yeah.
it was barely right field, but it was indeed right field.
Suppose it counts, yep.
2-0 count. Fastball there from Milto, right over the outer edge for strike one. So after walking Palomaki on 5 pitches, now behind in the count 2-1 to Artis. Comes set and the 2-1. That one just misses downstairs. Now 3-1 on the left-handed hitting center fielder out of Liberty.
It did look like that was a bit low, but that's a big call, whether you're in a 3-1 situation or a 2-2 situation for a hitter, like you said, Aiden. That's crucial for this game.
3-1 count. Fastball misses just above the letters, and Artis will head on down to first base with the second consecutive walk, and now the bases are loaded with just one down for the hot-hitting second baseman, Josh Shaw.
You got to give DJ Artis a ton of credit there. Just the second walk of the year, though. He has missed some time with an injury. 2 pitches that were very, very close to the strike zone in a situation where he could have tried to knock in a run, decide to stay put, lay him off, and now the bases are full.
Josh Shaw already 1 for 1 on the day with a single. Looks at a breaking ball from Milto over the inner part of the plate for strike one. Shaw was actually a Katuitt Kettleer last year for just a couple of weeks before being released, dismissed from the team. 0-1 goes back to the breaking ball, exact same spot, and now Milto's quickly hit 0-2. Shaw this year, though, 288 for the Johnnies, started all 55 games, and is off to a great start with the Anglers, and he lines this one in between first and second and into right field. Pena will score. They're waving on Palomaki. The throw is cut off by Gasper. As Artis digs in for third, he'll be safe. It's a 2 RBI single for Josh Shaw, and now it's 3-2 Whitecaps here in the bottom of the third.
What a big hit there for Shaw. Just lifted that one into right field. Just a little looper that took one bounce off the infield and headed in for the 2-run single. That's the type of clean hit that this game has been lacking so far, and now Jacob Olsen has a chance to give us a whole new ball game.
Now with a first and third situation, the catcher Coons giving his infield some signs. Like you mentioned, Jacob Olsen digging into the box for Chatham. He's 0 for 1, struck out swinging in the bottom of the first. 3-2 game, tying run just 90 feet away for Chatham as Milto pours in a first pitch fastball for strike number 1.
And Milto's got to stay composed here. The Brewster bullpen is empty right now. They're counting on him to go long. Just needs to get out of this inning as soon as he can.
Lifts this one in the air over the first base dugout, out of play. And a nice play by a young man in a nice blue hat. He catches the foul ball on the fly. Always been one of my dreams, never accomplished it. So you, young man, are a better man than I. 0-2 the count. Milto deals a fastball high, misses above the letters for ball number 1. Have you ever caught a foul ball, Carter?
Nope. I went to a minor league game once where the guy I was sitting next to and the 2 people directly in front of me all got balls, and I didn't.
1-2 the count. This one lifted high in the air, deep to left center field. Going back is Foyle, and that one will one-hop the wall. Artis will score easily. They're waving home Shaw from first base, and Olsen into second base with a stand-up double. And now Chatham, with a 4-run bottom of the third inning, takes a 4-3 lead over the Whitecaps.
Just left that one over the plate. Terrific piece of hitting from Olsen to drive that one. Thought that might have had a chance of clearing the 357-foot wall out there in the left field power alley, but it one-hops it. And that's, it's a little deja vu all over again right now for Brewster. They jump on top early to take a 3-0 lead, and now they're trailing again. We saw that last night in a slightly different form when the Whitecaps scored 4 in the first inning and then wound up losing that game 12-6. Let's see. Last night they didn't respond very well to having that lead get taken away, so a lot of baseball left here for them to do something about it. But it starts with getting out of this inning.
Now the left fielder Nick Patton digs in for the Anglers. He's 0 for 1, grounded out to third to start things off in the bottom of the second. 4-3 the score here. Anglers on top of the Whitecaps. As Milto comes set. And his first pitch lifted high in the air out towards right field. Taking a few steps back is Trejo. Now gets underneath it, makes the play. His throw to third base on a line, not in time, but made that a lot closer than I think a lot of people would have expected.
Yeah, some gasps in the crowd behind us. They weren't expecting that to be a diving play there for Olsen diving in there, but Trejo showing off his arm, and that's the second out. For Milto, the guy moves up 90 feet, not really a big deal, probably would have scored anyway in scoring position, so now it's about getting Langoliers to finish the inning.
You don't want to surrender another one here. 4-3 the score, Anglers on top of the Whitecaps. Shea Langoliers, who struck out swinging in his first at-bat, digs in. First pitch cut on and missed. Looks like he got a piece of that one as it gets away from Coons.
Yeah,
but obviously no advance by Olsen from third on the foul tip.
Might have gotten a piece of Coons behind the plate there.
1 from Milto. Hit softly foul towards the Whitecaps dugout. So now Milto in the driver's seat ahead in the count 0-2.
You'll take that in this crucial at-bat. Just fool him, get him to foul a couple of pitches off. Let's see where he goes here. If he goes with the fastball or gives him some breaking stuff. So far I've been wrong predicting. I'm not going to try.
0-2 the count. Milto deals. This one fouled straight back into the netting, so Patton will stay alive.
And that was some of the hard stuff there, it looked like. A good job by Patton to extend the at-bat. Now he's got to see what else Milto has to offer.
There is some activity in the Whitecaps bullpen. Looks like it's number 34. I believe it's Jonathan Stever out of Indiana. So another Hoosier warming up. Owen to the count on the left fielder, Patton. And the pitch from Milto lifted high in the air, deep to left field. Going back is foil, and that one will bounce off the wall. Olsen scores from third easily, and back-to-back stand-up doubles for the Anglers make it a 5-3 ball game here at Veterans Field.
And that one was even closer. That one just whacked right off the wall and straight away left center. Terrific hitting from Shea Langoliers, and this is an inning that's starting to get away from Brewster here. 5 runs in the inning.
5-3 the score. Chatham on top of Brewster. And this right here, Carter, is why losing Lingenfelter is such a huge blow to this Whitecaps team, especially here tonight at Veterans Field. And now it looks like the pitching coach, Austin Straub, will take a long walk out to the mound to have a chat with Milto. Justin Coons along with him out there on the bump. And
they are trying to go Hoosier, but is Stever Warman out there for the Whitecaps, and he looks like he's close to ready as the bullpen catcher is out there trying to get ready to take his pitches out there. But you were right, Aiden, in saying that it was a slow walk out to the mound from Straub to talk to him. Maybe they're thinking about sending him that second Hoosier sooner rather than later, as Milto just hasn't, he's been able to get ahead in counts pretty frequently in this inning, just hasn't been able to put hitters away. That was something we saw Tony Losi struggle with in last night's game when he had even better stuff and was able to locate well, but just couldn't quite put hitters away with 2 strikes. I think that's something that's hurting Milto here.
So now Cody Roberts digs in for the Anglers, and they have batted around in the inning. 2 down in the bottom of the 3rd inning. First pitch to Langoliers, off-speed pitch, misses downstairs for ball 1. Roberts grounded out to shortstop in his first at-bat. Milto working from the stretch, comes set. And another off-speed pitch. This one misses down and away. 2-0 now the count on Roberts.
And I'm glad, Aiden, that we agree on the definition of batting around with the 9th hitter. You know what they say, you don't end a round of golf on the first tee, right? So
that's very true. As an avid golfer myself, I can
I know you are.
I can attest to the fact that a round of golf as a warm-up pitch from Jonathan Stever gets away from bullpen catcher and kicks out into right field. So short little delay there, but now we're back ready to get things going once again.
Good reflexes by one of the coaches to come out and snag that baseball.
Cody Roberts ahead in the count 2-0. as Milto misses once again, down and away. 3-0 now on the catcher out of UNC Chapel Hill. Milto really having trouble with his command here at Veterans Field. Started out great over the first couple innings. Now pours in a fastball to Roberts for strike one. 5-3 the score. Anglers put up all 5 runs here in the bottom of the third inning. And still have a chance for another one as Shea Langliers leads off of second base. 2 down here in the bottom of the third. And now a 5-pitch walk to Cody Roberts. And the Anglers have 2 men aboard, and Austin Edens will bat for the second time this inning.
And that is the third walk of this frame surrendered by Paulie Milto.
And now Coach Jamie Shevchik will walk out to the pitcher's mound, and it looks like Jonathan Stever will enter this ball game. So that'll be it for Paulie Milto. He goes 2 2/3, gives up 5 runs, and is still responsible for the men on first and second base. We'll take a short break as Stever comes in and throws his warm-up pitches. Keep it right here. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Jonathan Stever takes over on the mound for the Brewster Whitecaps here with 2 down in the bottom of the third inning. He succeeds his fellow Indiana Hoosier, Paulie Milto, who went just 2 2/3 innings, but was put into a tough situation after Zach Lingenfelter, who was supposed to start for the Whitecaps, did not throw a single pitch, left after throwing some warm-up pitches. First pitch lifted high in the air down the right field line, slicing foul on the run as Trejo, and that one will fall out of play for strike one to Austin Edens, who led off this inning with a hard hit fly ball to the center fielder Costas, who made the play, but that seems like it was an eternity ago.
Yeah, and to think that almost dunked in for a hit. This inning would look that much more different if it did.
0-1 from Stever, misses downstairs, evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Book on Stever, he throws a lot of strikes, a whole lot of strikes. He barely walks anyone. If you look at his numbers this year at Indiana, struck out 53 guys in 68 innings and walked just 6. And his 1-1 to Edens, fouled straight back. 1-2 now the count on the first baseman.
And I think it's funny how Jamie Shevchik actually pointed out how he might throw too many strikes when he came in his last appearance, left a lot of pitches over the plate, kind of saying, well, maybe work around the edges, don't be afraid to miss.
Well, he pours one right there at the knees and gets Edens looking for out number 3, but the Anglers do their damage. They get 5 runs in the bottom of the third. It comes on, I believe, 4 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We played 3 here in Chatham. 5-3, Anglers on top of the Whitecaps. Keep it right here, though. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Brewster Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Aiden Doyle. Welcome back to Veterans Field. Justin Coons will lead off, and he takes a pitch inside but squirts away to the backstop. New pitcher to tell you about for the Chatham Anglers. Belge is finished after 3 innings on the mound. He is replaced by Dan Metzdorf, the lefty, another Boston College Eagle. A lot of those on the Cape this year. The 1-0 pitch skips in front of Coons and, in fact, hit him on the foot of the ankle area of the outer left ankle to the righty hitter Coons. So he will advance for the second time today. Reached on a fielder's choice and scored his first time. And with the Brewster Whitecap catcher standing on first, it's now time for the 9-hitter Foyle to take his hacks.
Well, this is exactly what Coach Jamie Shevchik wanted, is to chase this Angler starter Belge early from this ball game, get into the bullpen. Metzdorf, a guy who struggled in his first and only appearance thus far for Chatham.
As a swing and a foul ball, that one just grounded softly in front of the plate by Foyle to start things off for him. 0-1 now the count on Foyle. Foyle reached on an error by the pitcher Belge his first time up. The line on Belge, 3 innings pitch, gave up 2 hits. 3 runs, only 1 was earned. He walked 2 and struck out 3. The righty hitter Foyle stands in against the lefty Metzdorf, and it's a pitch high. Just that one slipped out of his hand, it looked like, to make the count 1-1 on Foyle, who came into this game hitting .250. Still looking for his first home run or RBI of the season. Coons on first. It's 5-3 Chatham here at Veterans Field. 1-1 pitch is hit high in the air toward foul ground and will head over the screen and amongst the children by the parking lot. That makes the count 1-2.
It'll bounce off of the passenger side door of a nice silver Honda Odyssey. I'm glad I'm parked a few cars down from there. I'm in that general vicinity, but not quite right there. So
1-2 is the count on Foyle. You always want to check your insurance policy before heading out here. The pitch is fouled away toward the right side. Nice job to spoil a pitch down and in there from Foyle. Metzdorf, the Anglers hurler, is listed at 5'10", 175. He's a rising junior out of Burlington, Massachusetts. Had 16 appearances for the Eagles this past year, and all but one of them were starts. He holds the set and deals 1-2. It's hit high in the air. Well, that one looking like it's hovering just a shallow center field. The second baseman, Shaw, is headed out, and he's called off by the center fielder, Artis, who ran right in front of him to make the catch. And there's one gone.
Yeah, at first you see Artis coming in there, and you think to yourself, okay, he's got the right of way there. He's got to take charge, and he does. But Shaw wasn't getting out of the way. I think it was just a subtle understanding that, okay, he'll be fine. He sees me. He understands where I am. He'll make the play. Shaw was just kind of hanging around watching his teammate.
Yeah, you never want to make that last-minute move that winds up tripping up your center fielder and making it on one of those blooper reels. Back to the top of the Whitecap order, and A.J. Graffinino hits from the left side against the lefty. The first pitch is a fastball in there for strike 1 up at the letters. 0-1 the count on Graffinino, who singled his first time up and then hit into a double play that allowed a run to score. No RBI on that play, of course. So still just 2 on the season for A.J. Runner on first base and 1 out. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. It's outside. The third baseman, Palomaki, is inside the baseline guarding a possible bunt from Graffinino. So after taking that pitch for ball 1, he now moves up just a tad back. Now even with the line at third. 1-1 the count. Holding the set is Metzdorf. And deals. It's a breaking ball hit on the ground sharply to first base. Fielded over there by Edens. Goes to short for 1. Over to first base. And it's a double play. Nicely turned. 3-6-3 DP to retire the side. So the Whitecaps get 1 man aboard, but he's canceled out on the double play. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on base. We're through 3.5 innings of play. 5-3 Chatham. You're listening to Whitecaps Baseball on the Brewster Whitecaps Radio Network.
from the University of Maine. Number 14.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take just a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu. Welcome back to Veterans Field. 5-3 Chatham. The pitch is thrown and grounded through the middle off the bat. And it's over to Graffinino. He fields it. He throws over to first base for the out. So Pena is retired to begin the bottom of the fourth inning. And there's one gone quickly here at Veterans Field in Chatham.
Third baseman from Boston College, number 11, Jake.
Score about 6-3, and now it's Jake Palamaki's turn. Another Boston College Eagle against still Jonathan Stever, who remains on the mound, replaced Paulie Milto, who, if you're just joining us, was the starter today. Zach Lingenfelter came out, took his warm-up pitches, but wound up leaving with a upper body issue of some kind. That's all we know. The first pitch showing bunt and taking a pitch in there for a strike at the knees is Jake Palamaki. The line on Milto through 2 2/3 innings, gave up 6 hits, 5 runs. They were all earned, walked 3, and struck out 2. Those 3 walks probably the most important number there, as the 0-1 pitch is down and away to Palamaki, who walked and scored his first time.
And Milto's a guy who relies, he has a good fastball, but also has a very sharp breaking ball when it's breaking away, more of a slider.
1-1 pitch is hit well out toward foul ground and getting over our heads as we sit toward the third base side behind home plate. 1-2 now the count on Palamaki.
But when he's not locating that fastball, he can't, catch guys off guard with the slider because he can't afford to miss. He's falling behind in counts, which forces him to throw the fastball over the middle.
1-2 pitch is a high pop fly toward foul ground on the right side. Mickey Gasper will look at it, but it'll wind up over the fence in foul territory, and we'll do it again with the count 1-2.
So you mentioned, obviously the walks becoming an issue for him, 3 of them in just 2 2/3. But even when he wasn't walking the guys, he'd fallen behind in counts, which forces him to throw balls over the plate. And the Anglers, they're elite talents too. They're good hitters, and they made him pay.
Palamaki facing a 1-2 count. Here's the pitch from the right-hander, and it's up high to the lefty swinging Palamaki to make the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Palamaki, a rising senior out of Kennesaw, Georgia. Moved there from Michigan when he was a child. Now faces a full count. The pitch. Swan on a ground ball to second base. Smith will field it over there. He throws across to first base in time to beat the hustling Palamaki for out number 2 of the bottom of the fourth.
The one thing I will say, though, is, as we talked about so much before the start of this game, it's only a 2-run ball game.
It's true.
And we've still got plenty of baseball to go.
5-3 Chatham right now.
This is a Anglers bullpen that has given up huge leads already this season. So 2 runs for the Whitecaps against this team, as long as they keep the right mentality, is nothing.
Here's Artis, and the lefty takes a pitch just a bit high on a nice-looking fastball there from Jonathan Stever. Count 1-0. Stever's fastball, it's like 90, 92, low 90s. That's where he'll sit. 1-0 pitch is just below the knees, despite the best efforts of Coons behind the plate to frame it. Stever working quickly is behind him to count 2 balls and no strikes. Artis on his day singled in the first inning and was caught stealing, and then walked and scored in that 5-run third. The pitch is swung and foul right back towards us over the tree. And the count is 2 balls and 1 strike on the outfielder from Liberty University.
I have a great shot at my foul ball today because we're right below the tree. So if it goes into the tree, hits a couple branches, it can fall right down. That one just went right through the tree.
The righty deals 2-1. It's a ground ball. Looks like that hit his leg or his knee area. Just rolled in front of the pitcher's mound, but the count will be 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Artis. A rising junior out of Greensboro, North Carolina, so he shares that hometown with Cesar Trejo, who's out in right field for Brewster. Was a draft pick by Boston in the 40th round in 2015, right at the end of the draft. Here comes the 2-2 from the righty. It's a breaking ball, dropped in, and it just misses. Looked like that one might have been a tad off the plate, brings the count full in the judgment of Rick Antonio, our home plate ump. Here comes the 3-2 pitch, and it's swung on and missed. A foul tip into the glove of Coons. That's the second strikeout and 4 hitters for Stever since he entered the game. So we are through 4 innings of play now after the Anglers go down in order in the bottom of the fourth. Still 5-3 Chatham. You're listening to Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Welcome back to Veterans Field, where Chatham still holds a 5-3 advantage over Brewster as the top of the fifth gets underway. It'll be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Whitecaps here, starting with Kyle Daughtris, and the righty third baseman hits one high in the air towards shallow right field. Olson will move toward the foul line, moving to his left. He's underneath it, and he makes the grab as Jacob Olson puts that one away for out number one. Things have been moving quickly here in the past few frames as the game has sort of settled down. A very strange beginning. A lot of balls didn't leave the infield that wound up coming in for hits. Brewster's 3 runs scored on a sac fly from Gasper, a double play off the bat of Graffinino, and then an infield single later on in that second inning. Took an early 3-0 lead, and then a 5-run third where the Anglers sent 10 runners to the plate, gave them a 5-3 advantage. And here is Gasper, the switch hitter for batting from the right side. Takes a breaking ball low from Dan Metzdorf, the lefty out of Boston College, back out for his second inning of work. 1-0 the count on Mickey. The pitch to Gasper is a fastball up high. The numbers on Metzdorf when he was at BC this past year, I mentioned 16 games and all but one of them were starts, which was a third all-time by a Boston College player to start 15 games in a season. The pitch is taken for a strike by Gasper to make the count 2-1. Through 80 innings pitched and at a 5.06 ERA did Metzdorf. Walked 30 and struck out 40. Nice round numbers on the stat sheet. 2-1 pitch. Swan on a hard ground ball through the middle. It'll get him to center field for a base hit. Mickey Gasper keeps seeing the ball well. He's back on base. He's now 2 for 3 with that sacrifice fly. And now Gasper is on first base, and that'll bring up Curry with one man out.
He just keeps hitting. Gasper has, in my opinion, probably been the most consistent hitter in this Whitecaps lineup.
I would agree.
You know, driving in runs coming into this game. He had 7 on the year, now has 9 after getting 2 in his first 2 at-bats. Came into the game batting .333. Obviously, that's going up with 2 hits today.
3-3-0 for Brewster, 5-6-2 for Chatham. And the cleanup hitter Curry swings and hits it hard to right field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Gasper is charging into second, but he'll stay right there as Olson comes up. He's got a good arm in the outfield. The arm of a shortstop out there in right field. So it'll be the single for Curry, and quickly there are 2 on and 1 out for Brewster.
And this is what you want to see if you're Coach Jamie Shevchik. Obviously, hits, coming together, stringing them together, but having the mentality, because this is a tough way to fall behind 5-3.
Right.
Losing your starter, probably your best pitcher so far in Lingenfelter throws 97 miles an hour. He doesn't even get to pitch today, and then you get up 3-0, and then you fall behind 5-3. A lot of teams could lie down and just give up. Battling back, that's what this team needs to do.
The pitch is low to the right fielder Cesar Trejo. And we'll remind everybody once again that Lingenfelter, he was slated to start, took his warm-up pitches, and then had an upper body issue, which is all we've been told, and decided it just wasn't his night and did not come into pitch. So they called on Paulie Milto and then Jonathan Steefer, who is still the pitcher of record for Brewster. 1-0 the count on Trejo. Here's the pitch to the Whitecap right fielder. Hit hard on the ground, through for a base hit left field. Gasper is heading to third base. He's going to stay right there as Kevin Smythe, the third base coach, was pointing at the bag all the way through. Hit that one hard, did Trejo. So it's bases loaded and 1 out for Brewster.
Yeah, you got it right. Trejo ripped that one into left field. Got right out to Patton out left very quickly. Gasper, he's got better wheels than I think a lot of people give him credit for, being a catcher, first baseman type. But I'm not sure Usain Bolt's going to score it on that one. That one got out to left field in a hurry, and Patton with a good arm out in the outfield. You don't want to test it here, especially you're trying to climb back into this ball game. The last thing you want to do with 1 out is make the second out trying to stretch into home, especially when you got bases loaded and Connor Smith coming up.
Whitecaps hitting to all fields in this inning. Gasper hit one through the middle, Curry to the right side, and then that one to the left side off the bat of the righty swinging Trejo. And out comes John Schiffer to talk to his hurler as Metzdorf is on the mound. I don't think we've seen a signal quite yet. This is typical of Schiffner to come out and talk to his pitchers even if he's not pulling them. He's the guy who makes the mounds visits for the Chatham Anglers. Big spot here with 1 man out.
Schiffner marches to the beat of his own drum.
It's true.
He is what you would call a legend here on the Cape. I mean, like we talked about before, winningest coach in Cape League history. He's been here in Chatham forever. He is as synonymous with the Chatham A's as Babe Ruth is with the Yankees. I mean, and frankly, I'm not even really stretching it all that much. When people think of the Chatham A's here on the Cape, they think of John Schifter. And he's a guy who loves to be involved. He loves talking to people, loves engaging with people. He doesn't want to delegate that mound visit to someone else. Why would you do that when you can go talk to the pitcher firsthand? He doesn't want to hear it from some pitching coach. He'll take care of it himself. He has enough confidence in himself and his pitcher that he can get the message across himself and doesn't need to delegate that responsibility to another assistant coach.
So here is Connor Smith. He'll dig in now as Schiffner retreats to the Anglers' dugout. It's 5-3 Chatham. We're in the top of the 5th inning, and the Whitecaps have the bases loaded and 1 out. The pitch to the righty. The corners are in. Middle infielder's a double play depth, and the pitch is bounced in front of the catcher Roberts, who makes another nice block. 1-0 the count early on Connor Smith.
This is a big opportunity for Smith, and especially the Whitecaps in this game. You want to keep the ball off the ground at all costs. Get the ball in the air if you're going to make an out.
The 1-0 pitch. Swan hit hard, and it's right to the shortstop, who makes the grab, does Pena, and flips to second for a double play. Wow, can't catch a break right now, can the Brewster Whitecaps? That was hit right to the shortstop position. Pena just had to underhand it to his middle infielder mate Shaw over at second base. It's a 6-4 DP, and that is how the top of the 5th inning will end. Brewster gets no runs in the frame on 3 hits. Thanks to the double play, they wind up leaving 2 runners on base. We are through 4.5 innings of play here in Chatham. It's still 5-3 Anglers. You're listening to Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Their office is located at Depot Road, just beyond the center field fence. The Monomoy and Pretty Picky team, everything you need.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Aiden Doyle. Back at Veterans Field, Shaw leading off for the Anglers, and he takes a pitch in there for a strike on the outside corner to start things off for him. We are in the bottom of the 5th inning. Chatham still ahead by a score of 5-3 in a game that's moving briskly along, and the pitch is in there for a called strike at the knees, and quickly, Jonathan Stever is ahead in the count 0-2. Stever replaced Paulie Milto in the 3rd inning with a couple of men out. Got a strikeout to end that inning to start off his day. 0-2 pitch is fouled back to the screen from Shaw, who right now is 2 for 2. Had an infield single in the 1st inning and had a 2-run single, which started the avalanche in the 3rd inning. That was the first 2 of 5 runs in that frame. The pitch is swung and grounded to second base. Moving to his right is Smith. He fields it and throws across for the out. So Shaw was retired for the first time in this game. There's 1 gone in the bottom of the 5th.
The same old demons that have haunted this Whitecaps team over the first 8 games haunt them once again here in this one. Bases loaded, just 1 out, and they failed to score. It seems like that has happened at least 5 times this year, where they've had bases loaded with nobody out or 1 out, and nobody's crossed the plate.
Now it's Jacob Olson's turn as he takes a pitch outside in there for a strike. That one was a strike in the judgment of our home plate ump, Rick Antonio. 0-1 is the count. The pitch to the 3-hitter is swung on and missed. A fastball that just foul tipped into the glove of the catcher, Coons. That was a bit too fast for him there, as Stever has been able to make that fastball work pretty well so far in his outing. 0-2 the count, the pitch. Swan hit high in the air into shallow center. Coming in now is Costas. He hesitated for a minute, moving to his left now, and he makes the catch for out number 2. Maybe Costas didn't quite see that ball well off the bat. It's kind of a tricky time of night here. The sun has gone down. We're in twilight. The lights are on, but it's kind of one of those places where you got the warring fashions of the natural light and the light from the poles, and Costas was able to decipher it, make the catch for the 2nd out, and now it's Nick Patton's turn.
I also think that's a prime example of why you take your first step back as an outfielder, because it's so much easier to come in there, backed up a couple steps, realized it was shallower than he initially thought, and then just came charging in to make the play.
The pitch to the righty, Patton, is taken for a strike on the fastball there from Seaver. Patton is a Delaware Blue Hen, part of the first NCAA tournament team for the University of Delaware in 17 years this past spring. He fouls the 0-1 pitch back to the screen to make the count 0-2. Was the Coca-Cola Player of the Week the first week of the year here on the Cape. Had a terrific start. He came into this game hitting an even .400. So far today, though, that average has dropped. 5-3 ground out and a fly out to right, and he swings and misses for strike 3. Boy, Jonathan Seaver has looked impressive in the past couple of frames for Brewster. He has not allowed a base runner, retired all 7 batters that he has faced so far in this game. 3 of them, via the strikeout. It's a 1-2-3, 5th inning for the Chatham Anglers. We're through 5. 5-3 Chatham. You're listening to Whitecaps Baseball on the Brewster Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Wedeel and Aiden Doyle. Back at Veterans Field, where Chatham leads Brewster by a score of 5-3. Here as we get ready to start the top of the 6th, let's go to the third member of our crew, Maura Sheridan, with an update for us. Maura?
Well, Coach Jamie Shevchuk said to me before the game, the kryptonite really for this Whitecaps team has been leaving people on base and also errors in the infield. We haven't seen any errors in the infield today, but we have seen the Whitecaps leave 6 people on. And Shevchuk says he's had kind of a weird way of putting it, saying it's kind of like bringing a squirt gun to a gunfight. Now, I'm not really sure how that applies, but he just basically said this issue cannot keep happening all season. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Maura. Marty Costas leading off the inning for the Whitecaps. He looks at a couple of breaking balls. They were both up, and so the count is 2-0, I believe. The scoreboard says 1-1, but I dare say it's incorrect. The lefty Metzdorf still on the mound. He drops a breaking ball. That one's in there for a strike. Costas so far today was hit by a pitch and scored in the second inning and then grounded out to the right side his previous appearance. And the pitch to Costas is swung on a ground ball softly to the left side. It's going to roll into foul territory. And as the third baseman, Palamaki, was charging up to that one, but once it got into the infield dirt, it kind of kicked some English on that baseball. And so the count is 1-2 on the board on Costas.
Yeah, Costas was just praying that one stayed on the grass. It took its first bounce on the grass and then kind of kicked to the left and tried to stay fair down the third base line, but eventually rolled foul. If that stays fair, no shot for the Anglers, and then the Whitecaps would have had the leadoff man aboard, but to no avail.
The junior out of Baltimore taking his time, now digs in, 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, he got him. Marty Costas out in front of that off-speed pitch, and the first out of the inning is via the strikeout. As Metzdorf gets Costas swinging, there's one gone. That's the first strikeout from Metzdorf that we've seen since he entered the game at the start of the 4th inning. Whitecaps, as something Moore was talking about, wound up loading the bases in the previous frame in the 5th, but then a double play, pretty unlucky one, ended the inning as Kuhn swings and misses at a breaking ball in the dirt. Looked like he was golfing there. And the count is 0-1 on the Whitecap catcher, who has reached base twice today by a fielder's choice and by a hit by pitch. And if you're a defensive-minded catcher, you'll take that. He takes a fastball in there for a strike. Didn't look like Coons was quite ready there. Kind of a little quick pitch perhaps there from Metzdorf as Coons just kind of kept the bat on his shoulder, and he now falls behind him a count. No balls and 2 strikes. gestures at the home plate ump to call for a time. Here comes the 0-2 pitch, and it's taken outside for a ball. On the fastball, the count is 1-2 on Coons. Mestorf working quickly. Here comes the 1-2 to the righty, and it's low on a breaking ball to the Gardner-Webb running Bulldog. The rising junior out of Wake Forest, North Carolina. 2-2 the count on Coons. We are in the top of the 6th inning. It's 5-3 Chatham. Metzdorf deals. It's swung hit well out to left center field. Patton is moving to his left to left fielder. It's going to drop into left center field gap. Cut off by Artis. The center fielder loses his footing for a second, but recovers and fires it in. And Coons wasn't looking for anything more than what he gets, which is a stand-up double. And the Whitecaps have another runner in scoring position now with 1 out.
Well, he wasn't looking for anything more than what he got, and he shouldn't have been. But that ball was well hit out into left center field. It hung up long enough that I thought maybe there was a shot that Artis could run that down with good speed out in center field, but just placed it perfectly into the left center field power alley and into second base standing up. You mentioned for a defensive-minded catcher, reaching on the fielder's choice and the hit by pitch is all you could really ask for. How about a stand-up double to go along with it?
How dare I underestimate him. Infield is a tad in as Foyle hits a high chopper to shortstop, fielded over there by Jeremy Pena. He double clutches and throws across in time for the out. That does move the runner Coons over to third base, but Foyle is retired. That's the second out of the top of the 6th.
When Pena double clutched that, seemed like he didn't quite have the control of the ball that he wanted in his glove, couldn't quite make a clean transfer. And Foyle, as we've seen, with very good speed, he thought maybe there's a shot there he could beat that one out. But no, a good recovery by Pena gets the speedy left fielder at first.
So now it's the top of the Whitecap order, and Graffinino has a line that no hitter wants. He's hit into 2 double plays, though he did single and score in the first inning. The pitch to the lefty is taken outside on a breaking ball. Chatham, as we mentioned, coming into this game at 4-5. They started off 4-1 on the season, but have dropped 4 straight games, looking to stop the streak tonight. Didn't have their center fielder Artis for any of those 4 games. He was injured as the 1-0 pitch is taken low. And for Chatham, it's been about giving up runs in bunches, which is why it's maybe a shade ironic that all 5 of the Anglers' runs, as they are ahead 5-3 in this game in the top of the 6th, came in one frame in the 3rd. Chatham lost 11-2 yesterday against the Mariners to drop below 500. The pitch to the lefty is fouled back to the screen. That one just got a piece of Graffinino's stick. So 2-1 is the count on AJ. AJ, the University of Washington product. And Omar was talking about infield defense and how that's been a concern for Jamie Shevchik. I don't think he's talking about AJ Graffinino when he talks about that. He's been a constant for this team since he's settled into that shortstop role. 2-1 pitch is hit high in the air toward foul ground on the left side, and it's going to make the seats out there into the last row of the bleachers. And a fan stuck out his hand, couldn't make the play, and a kid was right there to grab it. That's life in the bleachers for you. 2-2 the count.
My view was kind of blocked there by a few fans. I thought he initially made the catch, and I was going to applaud him because that would have been a heck of a catch, reaching back with the bare hand over his shoulder, Odell Beckham style, but nope, no applause for me. The kid in the blue hat, though, he made a heck of a play earlier.
It's 5-3 Chatham, runner on third, 2 men out, 2-2 the count to the lefty Graffinino. The pitch, swing, and a foul tip into the glove of the catcher Roberts, and Brewster knocks at the door once again, but fails to score in the top of the 6th. No runs, a hit, and 1 runner left on third base for Brewster. We are through 5.5 in Chatham. It's 5-3 Anglers. You're listening to Whitecaps baseball on the Brewster Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wedeel and Aiden Doyle. It will be Langoliers, Cody Roberts, and Austin Edens. Those are the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for the Chatham Anglers, just to do up in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's 5-3 Chatham here in the bottom of the 6th, and Jonathan Stever is still on the mound. It's been an all-Hoosier day for Brewster as the pitch is taken for a strike there by the Anglers' designated hitter today. 0-1 is the count on Shea Langoliers. He had a RBI stand-up double in the third, that 5-run third inning for Chatham. 0-1 pitch is a fastball on the outside corner for strike number 2, and Stever is ahead in the count. Milto was the starter for Brewster, went 2 and 2 2/3, excuse me. Lingenfelter did not wind up starting, had an upper body issue that popped up during warm-ups right before the game began. 0-2 pitch is fouled away toward the right side. Nice job by Langoliers to just try and reach for that ball down and in. So the count will remain 0-2 on Shea. Shea Langoliers is from Baylor University. As Aiden mentioned earlier in the ball game, here comes the 0-2, and it's down and away to the DH, and the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Stever's just looked absolutely fantastic since coming into this game, setting down all 7 batters he's faced in order. We've talked about his command, that maybe throwing so many strikes he's prone to give up hits.
1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. He got him. That was a fastball up, and Langoliers chased it. That's strikeout number 3 so far for Stever, and I agree, he's looked very good so far in varying his pitches, better than he was his last time out.
And I think the problem with the last time out is that you're coming out onto the mound in your first Cape League appearance. You want to throw strikes. You don't want to be the guy who comes out there and go very wild in front of the scouts. And he left too many over the plate. He's a guy who's got great command. Here he's locating on the corners much better.
Cody Roberts digs in and takes a breaking ball up high. You're talking about locating. That one was a breaking ball but didn't bite. It was all the way up. Roberts out of the University of North Carolina turned 20 years old just about a week ago. It was the day after these two teams were supposed to play in Brewster. 1-0 pitch is fouled away toward the right side. That one really gets up there, and we'll head over toward the playground on the right side. 1-1 the count on Cody Roberts. Roberts' day, he had a ground ball in the second and walked to keep the line moving in the third inning. That was the last hitter that Milto would face. The pitch is a down and away. Missing there was Stever with that fastball to run the count up to 2 balls and 1 strike on Roberts. Brewster, after this game, has a 3-game series with Bourne, if you will. 2-1 coming up, and it's taken outside. Oh, it's in there for a strike, excuse me, as Rick Antonio calls a strike, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That one was a prime example of locating right there on the outside part of the plate.
Fooled me, didn't it?
I say right on the outer black.
And a swing and a miss, strike 3. Back-to-back Ks. In fact, that's 3 in a row going back to the previous frame for Jonathan Stever. And quickly there are 2 gone in the bottom of the 6th of a 5-3 game in favor of Chatham.
Yeah, it's his 5th of the game so far, 4th one swinging, and he's really dialed that fastball up, not only in velocity, but also really locating it up in the zone and away from where a hitter can get a good piece of it. You know, that high fastball, easier to see than...
As the first pitch is fouled back by Edens to start his at-bat, 0-1 the count.
Or at least better to see than it is to actually try and hit. And when he's locating that one way up in the zone, not just slightly up in the zone, it's a really tough pitch to go after.
Edens is 0 for 2. He was the first strikeout victim and by Stever as he swings and fouls a pitch off in front of the plate. That one whacked off of somebody. 0-2 the count on Austin. Austin is now 2 for 17 on the season here on McCabe. Does have a pair of runs batted in to his credit. And the count is 0-2. Brewster starts that series with Bourne tomorrow. A doubleheader at Stony Brook Field starting at 2. You can listen to it right here, right where you are. 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, he got him, ran the fastball up, got a swing and a miss, striking out the side is Jonathan Stever. He's now struck out 4 in a row and 6 for the game, and a very quick 6th inning is over. 1-2-3 go the Chatham Anglers. We are through 6 innings of play, 5-3 Anglers. You're listening to Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wedeel and Aiden Doyle.
Back here at Veterans Field in Chatham, Massachusetts. New pitcher for the Chatham Anglers. It's Ryan Hedrick, the right-hander out of Presbyterian College. He relieves Dan Metzdorf, who was fantastic in relief for these Chatham Anglers. And he'll face 2, 3, and 4 in the Whitecaps order, starting off with Kyle Daughtris, who looks at a first-pitch fastball for strike number 1. Welcome back, and thank you for joining us here from Veterans Field on the Whitecaps Radio Network. I'm Aiden Doyle, alongside Carter Wedeel. And the 0-1 to Daughtris misses downstairs. Count evens 1 ball and 1 strike. We've heard from the third member of our crew, Maura Sheridan, a couple times this evening, and Koki Riley in the next half inning will be giving us a sports update, or excuse me, a score update from around the league.
It's sports.
It is sports, but I'm used to the sports update being, oh, Chris Paul opted out of his contract with the Clippers as Kyle Daughtris takes a breaking ball down and in for ball 2.
Well, we saw a terrific outing there from Metzdorf. 3 innings pitched, 4 hits, no runs, no walks, 2 Ks.
2-1 the count to Daughtris as he ropes this one into left field. Moving to his left is Patton, and that one off the wall. Daughtris' helmet flies off, and he'll dig into second base standing up. He takes a big turn around second as the throw got away from the cutoff man, Pena, and was actually cut off by the second baseman, Shaw, just to the right of third base. So he came way over there, but either way, a good start for the Whitecaps here in the top of the 7th. On a Kyle Daughtris stand-up double.
And I tell you what, he was so close to his first home run of the Cape League season this year. I mean, that could not have been more than a foot from the top of the wall out in left center field. Terrific piece of hitting.
Now Mickey Gasper digs in for Brewster. Batting left-handed now after facing 2 lefties in his first couple at-bats, so he's batting from the right-handed side there, being a switch hitter. Gasper 2 for 2 today with 2 RBI as Daughtris leads off of second, and the first pitch off speed misses down and away. Gasper able to lay off for ball number 1. Hedrick looking into his catcher Roberts, now comes set. Taking a long time on the mound. Now he's ready, the 1-0. Chopped right in front of home plate, fielded by Hedrick, throw on to first in time for out number 1. Daughtris able to move to third on the play, so essentially a swinging bunt there for Gasper. And now the number 4 hitter, Michael Curry, will step to the plate with a run just 90 feet away for the Whitecaps.
Dunkin' Donuts and the Cape Cod Baseball League want to keep players and fans running both on and off the field all season long. Celebrate the summer of coffee at your local Dunkin' Donuts with their latest flavor lineup, including butter pecan, coconut cream pie, and s'mores.
Ooh, s'mores. I might get me one of those. As Hedrick deals a first pitch fastball over the outer part of the plate to Michael Curry for strike 1.
I actually made s'mores indoors a couple of days ago.
Really?
In the oven.
I was a late arrival to the s'mores
I was
craze.
too.
I had never had them until like a couple of years ago. First time I had them, magical feeling. 0-1 count. This one fouled right off of Curry's left foot. 0-2 now the count on the DH out of Georgia.
That's not a magical feeling, whacking the baseball off of his toe there. Has to walk this one off. Now an important spot here for Curry. Trailing by 2 runs. You got the runner on third and 1 out, and you don't need me to tell you, if you're listening and know about baseball, what Curry's job is. It's not to get on base, it's to drive in that run from third.
Yeah, Curry, one of the big run producers in this Whitecaps lineup, as he calls time now to step out of the box. Curry's picked up a couple big hits for this Whitecaps team. He had the big game-tying pinch hit single just a few days ago for Brewster. That one to right field. And he takes this fastball outside for ball number 1.
Yeah, showed he could be a little Johnny on the spot there. A pinch hitting appearance against the Red Sox out in South Yarmouth. Or it was against Falmouth, excuse me. It was the home opener.
And then the following day against Wareham had 3 RBI against 3 separate pitchers as this one fouled back to the backstop.
Mixing up my Brewster comebacks here.
It's all right. There are plenty of them, and they're looking for another one here. They trail Chatham 5-3 in the top of the 7th inning. Kyle Daughtris with a stand-up double to start things off here in the 7th, and then move to third on a Mickey Gasper ground out. Now with one down and a 1-2 count, Michael Curry looking to cut into this Chatham lead. Hedrick comes set, now will step off the mound. As Curry also steps out of the box, gets a swing in. Cesar Trejo waits on deck for the Whitecaps. There looks to be some activity in the Whitecaps bullpen. No one really warming up yet, just kind of moving around, getting loose. And the pitch to Curry lined into center field. It's up there, so the center fielder Artis will make the play. Tagging from third is Dodgers. The throw home is cut off as Dodgers slides in head first. He's safe. There was no play at the plate. And now it's just a one-run ball game here at Veterans Field.
I think the helmet flew off again there for Dodgers. It did. So 2 running plays for Dodgers in misframe, and the helmet flies off both times. And you'll take that if you're Coach Shevchik. You like to see a guy hustling in for the run. And I mentioned what Curry's job was, and he did the job. Got the baseball up in the air, and now that cuts the lead in half.
And now Cesar Trejo will step into the box with nobody on. 2 down here in the top of the 7th. Now just a one-run ball game. 5-4 the score here in Chatham. Anglers on top of the Whitecaps. Trejo today, 1 for 3, reached on an error by the shortstop in the first, then popped out to the second baseman Shaw before singling in the 5th. Takes a big cut at this one and fouls it back over the netting and out of play. 0-1 now the count on the right fielder out of UNC Greensboro. Hedrick this season for the Anglers. 2 games, 4 innings pitched, gave up 5 earned runs. So another Anglers reliever with an ERA that starts with double digits as Trejo takes a fastball up in the zone for strike 2. And now Trejo quickly behind 0-2. Hedrick working from the stretch. Now comes set. And the 0-2. Caught on and missed. He got Trejo swinging for out number 3, but the Whitecaps get a run. It comes on a Michael Curry sacrifice fly. They get 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, nobody left on. Time to stretch here at Veterans Field. 5-4 the score. Anglers on top of the Whitecaps. Keep it right here, though. You're locked in to Brewster Whitecaps baseball on the Brewster Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wedeel and Aiden Doyle.
Back here in Chatham where the Anglers lead the Whitecaps 5-4, but let's check out what the scores are around the league, and for that we go to our very own Koki Riley.
Thanks, Aiden. In the only 5 o'clock game of the evening, the Whitey Red Sox have lost by a score of 9-2 against Catuit from Lowell Park. In our 5:30 game, the Firebirds of Orleans are up 7-4 against Harwich from White House Field in the bottom of the 9th inning. For our 6 o'clock games, Bourne is up 7-5 in the 5th inning against Hyannis from Dorn Park. Wareham is down 5-3 against Falmouth from Arnie Allen Field in the 8th inning. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Koki. And back here at Veterans Field, Jeremy Pena, first pitch swinging, hits one on the ground towards second, fielded by Smith. Throw on to first in time for out number 1. So Jonathan Stever continues to shut down this Anglers lineup in relief as he'll now face the number 9 hitter, Jake Palomaki. And thus far, no one has reached base against the right-hander out of Indiana, who deals a first pitch fastball for strike number 1 to Palomaki.
Yeah, 11 straight retired in his 11 hitters that he's faced. He's done a terrific job, and a lot of it is command.
This one skips home right off of home plate. Carter, we should just stop saying things because, frankly, whenever we say something, you talk about his command. His next pitch skips off of home plate. Evens count 1-1. The broadcaster's curse is alive and well here at Veterans Field. 1-1 count on Palomaki. He's 0 for 1 today. Would reach on a walk and then come around to score in the third. And now takes a pitch high and inside for ball 2. Palomaki, the number 9 hitter. Switch hitter batting left against the right-handed throwing Stever. Got the start at third base today for John Schiffner's Anglers. Stever through the windup in this one. A bunt laid down the third baseline. It's a good one. Stever slips on the grass and is unable to make the play. So the first base runner to reach against Jonathan Stever is the number 9 hitter, Jake Palomaki. And once again, Carter, the broadcaster's curse is alive and well.
And that's tough for Stever going in. You could see the look in his eye. He was taking charge on that one. He thought he was going to be able to make the play, but wound up taking a spill there on the turf. Ball bounces off his glove, and it is scored an infield single.
So the first hit against Stever, also the first base runner. And now back to the top of the order for the Anglers with 1 down here in the bottom of the 7th. DJ Artis digs in and looks at a first pitch fastball that just misses down and away for ball 1. 5-4 the score here in Chatham. Anglers on top of the Whitecaps. All 5 of the Anglers' runs coming in the bottom of the 3rd inning as the runner takes off, but Artis fouls this one off down the third base line. So now a 1-1 count on the center fielder out of Liberty as Palomaki retreats back to first base.
Not the first time he's gone for it. He's 0 for 2 right now. This so far on McCabe season, stealing bags.
And with Justin Coons behind the plate, that doesn't make his chances of getting to the first successful stolen base any easier.
And it might have been a hit and run play there with the count 1-0.
1-1 count. Runner holds. Cut on and missed by Artis. Swung through that one up in the zone. And so now it's 1-2 on the Chatham center fielder.
Oh, nearly took his helmet off, it looks like. Got a little looser.
Artis 1 for 2 on the day. Singled in his first at-bat. Was caught stealing. Gunned down by Coons. Would walk in the third and come around to score. And then struck out swinging in the fourth. 1-2 the count. Stever deals. Fastball just misses down and away for ball 2. 2-2 now the count on Artis. Stever has been fantastic in relief thus far for the Whitecaps, and now Artis will call time as Stever steps off the mound as well. Sun has completely gone down here in Chatham, which makes sense considering it's 8:56 Eastern time, nearly 9 o'clock here on the East Coast. And the pitch from Stever's fouled straight back into the netting. Artis doing a good job staying alive, so the count remains 2-2. Looks to be some action in the Anglers bullpen now, as well as in the Whitecaps. Still no one really truly warming up for Brewster. Just kind of playing catch down the right field line, getting loose.
Yeah, it's a similar situation for Chatham. So both bullpens kind of stirring here.
2-2 the count as Stever throws over to first. Palomaki dives back safely. Unlike the night before Christmas, creatures are stirring here at Veterans Field. 2-2 count to the leadoff hitter Artis. Runner goes. Throw in there. Not in time as Palomaki swipes second, but the pitch from Stever right on the outside corner to Artis. He goes down looking for out number 2.
Boy, if there's anybody who can get a strike him out, throw him out, it's Justin Coons. But again, we were talking about the one error that he has on the season. That was a very similar play. It bounced maybe a foot in front of the second base bag, and if it had been there on the fly, not going to say it would have definitely been able to get Palomaki, but it would have been very close at second base.
It was still a close play regardless, as now the number 2 hitter Josh Shaw, who's been a thorn in the Whitecaps side thus far, steps into the box. And now Justin Coons will jog out to the pitcher's mound to have a chat with Stever, probably talking about how are we going to approach Shaw. In his one at-bat against Stever, he grounded out to second, the only time he's been retired tonight. He singled in his first two at-bats. The second at-bat, a big two RBI single to right field. Just fell behind in the count 0-2 actually, and took a pitch on the outside part of the plate and shot it in between first and second to bring 2 home. First pitch from Stever misses downstairs for ball 1. Shaw, the second baseman out of St. John's University in Queens, New York. Also where Whitecaps bench coach Tommy Weber is a professor 1-0 the count, and the pitch fouled straight back into the netting. 1-1 now on Shaw. Weber referred to as the Whitecaps' quote-unquote baseball guru. I'm pretty sure everyone has referred to him as that, not just Coach Shevchik or Ned Monty, the GM, Chris Kenny, team president. Literally everyone I've talked to in this organization uses the same exact word to describe Coach Tommy Weber, and that is guru. 1-1 count as Palomaki dances off of second. Fastball from Stever catches the outside corner for strike 2.
Well, that's a title that's not just given, right?
That's earned. Really a guy who is fascinating to listen to at practice. A former shortstop himself. As this one, breaking ball lifted in the air into the infield. The first baseman Gasper moving to his left and puts it away for out number 3. So Palomaki singles and moves into second on a stolen base, but he'll stay right there. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left on base. We played 7 here in Chatham. Still 5-4, Anglers on top of the Whitecaps. Keep it right here. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Wedeel and Aiden Doyle.
Back here in Chatham, where the Anglers lead the Whitecaps 5-4 as we move to the top of the 8th inning. It will be 6-7-8 due up for Brewster. Connor Smith, Marty Costas, and Justin Coons against another new pitcher for the Chatham Anglers. It's Jack DeGroat, right-hander out of Liberty University, where he's a teammate of starting center fielder DJ Artis for the Anglers. So the night is done for Ryan Hedrick. He just went 1 inning, gave up 1 run, 1 hit, didn't walk anybody, and struck out 1.
Very close to the all ones line there.
The all elusive.
No walks. Maybe one day we'll see it, kind of like the trillion in basketball, where it all just seems to line up for you.
We almost saw an immaculate inning earlier this year, if I remember correctly. I believe it was Joe.
Was Molatier?
Yeah, Molatier, I believe, at Lowell Park in Katuitt. As the catcher Roberts will throw down to second base, and the warm-ups are complete here in the top of the 8th inning. Connor Smith, Marty Costas, Justin Coons due up for Brewster. And it looks like, no, we will have a pinch hitter. Nick Dunn coming in to pinch hit for Connor Smith. So Smith's day is done. He went 0 for 3 at the plate. With a ground ball back to the pitcher, struck out swinging, and then lined out to the shortstop.
Yes, his day is done, and now the guy in the batting order is also done.
You know, you looked at me right after that. It took me about half a second, and I realized exactly why you were looking at me, as Nick Dunn takes a first pitch fastball for strike 1. The puns come aplenty here on the Whitecaps radio network. 0-1 the count on the second baseman out of Maryland. Now a breaking ball from DeGroat. This one finds the zone. So it's quickly 0-2 on Dunn. Dunn, last year's Whitecaps Offensive Player of the Year, as he takes a fastball inside for ball 1. This year, not off to the best start. 273, so certainly respectable in 6 games, but not replicating what he did last year in a Whitecaps uniform, as he chops this one foul right over the head of teammate, both here and in College Park, and roommate in College Park, Marty Costas. who now throws the ball over towards the Anglers Bat Boys. 1-2 the count on Dunn. DeGroat working from the windup. Kicks and the 1-2. Breaking ball just misses high and outside. Count evens 2 balls and 2 strikes.
One of those pitches that just goes around the zone. That's a good take from Dunn, because that was at the letters.
2-2 the count to Dunn. 5-4 the score here in Chatham. As DeGroat misses in the dirt with a fastball, and now the count runs full. So a good job by Dunn battling back to run the count full.
Yeah, a decent day at the plate in yesterday's game. Went 1 for 4 at an RBI single in that 4-run first inning. It was the DH that day.
And the payoff pitch from DeGroat. This one lifted in the air, foul down the third baseline, so Dunn stays alive. Dunn overall had a down year for the Terrapins. After batting .300 as a freshman and being a freshman All-American, batted just .261 this year and committed 14 errors, which was the most on the Terrapins baseball team. 3-2 lifted in the air, once again foul down the third base line.
And errors is a stat that often falls prey to middle infielders a lot. Usually they wind up getting a lot of errors because they get a lot of balls hit their way, and errors don't take range into account. So definitely not the one way to sum up a defensive player, but that being said, you never want to have 14 errors in a season.
Payoff pitch from DeGroat, breaking ball in the dirt for ball 4, so Dunn reaches, and the Whitecaps have a leadoff man aboard here in the 8th.
That's a great job from Dunn. It's got to be tough to grab a bat and come in as a pinch hitter, but he's able to stay disciplined and get on base. And now he's the tying run.
And that'll bring up Marty Costas, a guy who has a lot of power in his bat. Already has a home run on the season for the Whitecaps. Homered in just his second Cape League at-bat back in Lowell Park in Katuitt. He's 0 for 2 on his day. Shows bunt here and drops it down the first base line. It's a good one running up the first base line. The pitcher slips and the throw gets past the first baseman Aidens and gets into right field. So Dunn able to move to third. Costas will hold at first. And so a big play there on what was supposed to be a sac bunt, and now the tying run is just 90 feet away for the Brewster Whitecaps with nobody down in the 8th inning.
It's an E1, and that's the second time that we've seen a pitcher slip on the infield grass while going to field a baseball. Obviously, we had some rain in the area earlier today. The grass is still pretty wet, and falling prey to that rain there was the hurler DeGroat. And like you said, Aiden, huge spot here for Coons, who has yet to be retired so far in this game with first and third.
Coons 1 for 2 on his day, stood up or had a stand-up double in his last at-bat. And the first pitch cut on and missed by the catcher out of Gardner-Webb for strike 1. You talked about him being primarily a defensive catcher, and after reaching his first 2 times but without a hit, how his day, really has trouble getting that much better being a defensive catcher, then doubles in his next at-bat. Well, it could get even better here with a big spot here for the Whitecaps. Pitch from DeGroat misses outside, evens count at 1-1. Coons came into the game today, batting 210 at-bats. Already had a double on the season, so this is his second, his double in the 6th inning was his second on the year. 1-1 count, DeGroat kicks and deals. Caught on and missed, blew it right past him, and now Coons behind 1-2. Looks like it'll be a pinch hitter after Coons as Chandler Taylor is in the on-deck circle for the Whitecaps. He'd be pinch hitting for Devin Foyle as Coons calls time. And Chandler Taylor here at at Veterans Field in Chatham, where it's only 314 feet to right field, as DeGroat blows a fastball by Coons up in the zone for strike 3. So the catcher out of Gardner-Webb goes down swinging. And yes, indeed, it'll be Chandler Taylor stepping into the box for the Brewster Whitecaps.
Yeah, Taylor was out of the lineup today because Jamie Shevchik was worried about how he would do against left-handed pitching. Now, of course, that's not a problem with the righty on the hill, and so I like this move. You need a fly ball in this situation. Here's a guy who's very good at hitting fly balls.
I say here is a fly ball hitter in Chandler Taylor. Like I mentioned, 314 feet down the right field line. Exactly what it is at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. First pitch to Taylor, misses down and in for ball 1. After Taylor, it'll be back to the top of the order for the Whitecaps. A.J. Graffinino waiting on deck. Runners at the corners for Brewster. Nick Dunn leading off of third. Marty Costas off of first. One down in the top of the 8th inning, and the pitch to Taylor once again misses inside. So now 2-0 on the pinch hitter out of Alabama. Taylor had a rough day yesterday, but before that was about as hot as any hitter in the Cape League. Had 3 home runs in 2 games. Tied for the team lead, or actually has the team lead with 3 home runs, excuse me. And before this game was in the team lead in RBI, but Mickey Gasper has since surpassed him as the Groat finds his own with a fastball. So the count now 2-1 on Taylor. Gasper came into the game with 7 RBI, Taylor with 8, but Gasper had an RBI in each of his first 2 at-bats. And now the 2-1 to Taylor, misses down and in, and it's a 3-1 count to the man who was selected to the College Home Run Derby, which will take place on July 1st at TD Ameritrade Park in Omaha, Nebraska. Taylor, one of 6 college sluggers to receive that honor. And the 3-1 from the Groat. Swung on, lifted high in the air, but foul right behind us and out of play. So now the count runs full, and a big pitch coming up for both sides in this ball game with the score 5-4. One of the best hitters on this Whitecaps roster at the plate. The tying run 90 feet away. 1 down here in the top of the 8th inning.
You wonder if they send Casas here from first with the count full.
DeGroat set, and the payoff pitch. Fastball misses high, and Taylor will head on down to first base with a walk, so that'll load the bases for the leadoff man, A.J. Graffinino.
Well, this is just the man you want up, right? You want the top of the order, guy who's excelled at getting on base so far of his season, but has hit into 2 double plays earlier in this game. The first one was your standard ground ball to second, and then the next one was really a fluke. It was with some runners on in that play. It was just a line drive right to the, or no, it was a ground. We've seen 3 double plays.
We have seen
today.
3.
Excuse me.
It was a Connor Smith line drive that was
5th inning, yeah.
The strange double play.
Bases were loaded just like they are right now.
A big spot for Graffinino indeed. Bases loaded, 1 out in the top of the 8th inning. Whitecaps trailing by 1 run, and the pitch from DeGroat. Swung on and missed up in the zone. Graffinino chased a fastball high for strike 1.
Nicely done by DeGroat to just come out, say, here's my fastball at the beginning of the at-bat.
The importance of this at-bat cannot be overstated for either side. 1-run ball game here at Veterans Field in the 8th inning. 0-1 count to Graffinino and the pitch. Fastball in there for strike 2, and now the shortstop out of Washington behind, no balls and 2 strikes.
And that looks to be a little up, but Rick Antonio called it a strike, and Graffinino's got to put it out of his head. Has to reset here behind in the count.
0-2 the count. Corners in for the Anglers. 1 down in the top of the 8th. Bases loaded, 1-run ball game, and the pitch. Lifted in the air, foul down the third base line. Graffinino just got a piece of that one and flicked it over the third base dugout out of play. Graffinino 1 for 4 on his day. Singled in the first, stole second, advanced to third on a wild pitch and would come around to score, but then grounded into double plays in his second and third at-bats before striking out swinging to end the 6th inning. 0-2 count here, and the pitch from DeGroat. Fouled straight back into the netting, so Graffinino doing a good job staying alive, battling here against the right-handed Chatham reliever out of Liberty University. Lights are on, obviously, here in Chatham. A beautiful night, no fog here, as we talked about before the game, as DeGroat comes set, and the 0-2. Line foul down the third base line right over the Anglers' dugout. Graffinino hit that one hard, but couldn't quite straighten it out, and he fouls off 3 consecutive pitches, so the count stays 0-2. Dunn leading off third, Costas off second, Taylor off first. 5-4 the score here in Chatham. Anglers on top of the Whitecaps, but bases loaded, 1 down, and the pitch to Graffinino. Caught on and missed, but the ball gets away, but with first base occupied, although Graffinino apparently thinks he got a piece of that one, but the home plate umpire, Rick Antonio, is saying he didn't, and now he's saying he did. And now John Schiffner out to home plate to have a word with the home plate umpire Antonio. A huge call here either way.
Yeah, I can't get into the head of anybody who's down there, but it looked pretty genuine there from Graffinino when he turned around and said, really, you think that they called a strike on there? So
Well, Antonio signaled, the fist as
Right.
if you're out, and then Graffinino didn't leave the batter's box, didn't leave the home plate circle, and it looks like now he will, and so it is indeed a strikeout.
I think what was confusing there is I think home plate umpire Rick Antonio was signaling for time and held up both of his hands, which could also mean foul ball. That was after he made that strike signal. I think that might have been what was confusing. And now Coach Shevchik is out to have a word with the ump. We've seen both managers out in the field in quick succession here from this call.
A huge spot here for Kyle Daughtris now, as Shevchik continues to have his say with Rick Antonio, the home plate umpire.
The third baseman, number 3, Kyle.
Kyle Daughtris stepping into the box for the Whitecaps. Bases loaded, 2 outs, 1-run ball game here at Veterans Field in Chatham. 5-4 the score, Anglers on top of the Whitecaps. And after having runners on first and third with nobody out, Kuhn struck out, then the pinch hitter Taylor walked to make the bases loaded with 1 out. Then a Graffinino strikeout gave the Whitecaps 2 outs, and the first pitch to Daughtris, off speed right on the outer part of the plate for strike 1. Daughtris 1 for 3 on his day, struck out in his first at-bat, then walked in the second inning, flew out to right in the 5th, and then had a stand-up double in the 7th and would come around to score. And the pitch, breaking ball in the dirt, good stop there by Roberts to even the count at 1-1. Veterans Field still packed with fans despite the late hour, 9:16 here on the East Coast. 1-1 count to Kyle Daughtris, the third baseman out of UNC Chapel Hill. 1 for 3 on his day as DeGroat comes set. Kicks and the 1-1. Fastball in at the knees for strike 2, and the Anglers are just 1 strike away from getting out of a huge jam here in the top of the 8th. 1-2 count, 2 outs, 1-run ball game, bases loaded. DeGroat comes set. And the pitch. Breaking ball, hit on the ground but foul down the third base line, so Daughtris stays alive.
Boy, the formula for a dramatic at-bat has been working well the past couple of hitters here. We saw Graffinino foul off 3 baseballs. Daughtris golfing at that one there.
Mickey Gasper waiting on deck for the Whitecaps. 1-2 count to Daughtris, and the pitch from DeGroat. Lined out into center field, moving to his right is Artis. He dives and makes an unbelievable catch. What a play by the center fielder out of Liberty University to rob Kyle Daughtris of extra bases and keep the Anglers in the lead here in the top of the 8th. DJ Artis saves the day for the Chatham Anglers, and Kyle Daughtris with a loud F8 to end the top of the 8th inning. Once again, the Whitecaps fail to score with the bases loaded and 1 or fewer outs. No runs on no hits, actually. No errors, or excuse me, 1 error, and 3 men left on base. We move to the bottom of the 8th inning. Jonathan Stever still on the mound for the Whitecaps. Keep it right here. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball.
That's the best play we've seen all season. That's the best. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are
Back here at Veterans Field where the Anglers lead 5-4, and the first pitch to Jacob Olson is lined down the left field line, and that'll get down for a base hit. So just a second hit that Jonathan Stever has given up in relief for the Brewster Whitecaps. And the leadoff man's aboard for the Anglers. I'm Aiden Doyle, joined alongside by Carter Woodeel. 5-4 the score here in Chatham as Nick Patton steps into the box. But Carter, we didn't really have a chance to talk about it. DJ Artis saves the day for the Chatham Anglers with a dive-in catch out in center field to rob Kyle Daughtris of extra bases.
Well, he's missed the past 4 games with a knee injury, and boy, are these Anglers fans happy he's back in center field. Made a terrific catch. That might have been the best catch I've ever seen on a baseball field when you take into account the magnitude of the situation. Bases loaded, 2 outs, full extension dive out in left center field. What a play.
Yeah, if that gets down, obviously ties the game. It certainly gives the Whitecaps at least a 1-run lead. You got to believe that even though he's not the fastest guy in the world, Chandler Taylor scores from first base, because if he misses that, chances are it rolls all the way to the wall as a breaking ball cut on and missed by Patton. I mean, if that gets past Artis, you have a legitimate shot in an inside-the-park home run.
It's true. Yeah, not a ton of space out there, but you're right.
He's diving towards, like, third base, so he's coming in on the ball, not just laterally to his right. And if that gets past him, it's into the center field or left center field gap. And Dodgers with good wheels. 0-1 count on Nick Patton. He's 0 for 3 today, and the pitch from Stever. Cut on and missed for strike 2. Coons look towards first as Olson retreats back to the bag. Patton, the left fielder for the Anglers. Hailing from the University of Delaware as Stever throws over to first base. Olson dives back safely. Righty versus righty matchup here as Stever working from the stretch. Now comes set and the 0-2. This one lifted in the air into shallow right field. It's the second baseman, Dunn, who makes the catch just into the outfield grass for out number 1.
The designated hitter from Baylor University, number 51, Shea Langoliers.
The Beach House Grill at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa is the perfect spot for a seaside lunch or evening clam bake, a proud member of leading hotels of the world.
Now Shea Langoliers steps in for the Anglers. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI double. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Stever kicks and deals this one rope down the right field line, but slicing foul. So 0-1 the count on the designated hitter out of Baylor. Langoliers wearing number 51 for the Anglers. Cody Roberts, the catcher for Chatham, waiting on deck. As Stever comes set, kicks and the 0-1. Fastball blew it right past him up in the zone for strike 2. Stever once again, despite working this late into the ball game, showing some good life on his fastball.
Well, what a career. It's been a career night for Jonathan Stever in terms of, I mean, obviously his Cape League career is short, but this is one that I think he's going to remember for a long time. Just 2 hits allowed since the end of the game to clean up the mess in that 5-run third.
0-2 count, breaking ball misses high for ball 1. Stever, so far 4 2/3 innings, giving up just 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 7 strikeouts. He's been stellar after Paulie Milto, who filled in for Zach Lingenfelter, who left the game without having thrown an actual pitch, just threw a couple warm-ups and left the game with an upper body injury. Breaking ball from Stever in there, strike 3. Langoliers down looking. That's his 3rd strikeout of the game and Stever's 8th. And now they're quickly 2 down here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Took a while there for Langoliers to clear the circle after Rick Antonio rang him up. But we've talked about the command of the fastball for Stever right now, showing off command of the curve as well.
Yeah, Stever has just been absolutely brilliant. We talk about the struggles the bullpen had yesterday for Brewster, allowing Katuitt to come back and then, keep battling, keep scoring runs, never really giving them a stopper, as Roberts fouls his first pitch straight back into the netting for strike 1. For Stever to come into this ball game today after all the chaos that ensued after Lingenfelter was scratched, as Roberts fouls another one straight back. For Stever to come in and throw 5 innings thus far of just 2 hit ball with 8 strikeouts. I'm sure when we talk to Coach Shevchik after this game, he will sing the praises of his right-handed reliever.
Yeah, Stever played football in high school. It was 2 times All-State, and I'm sure this is a game ball type of performance from the Whitecap reliever here.
0-2 the count on Roberts. Fastball from Stever misses high for ball 1. 1-2 the count, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. 1 man aboard. Jacob Olson leads off first. He led off the 8th inning with a single. But Stever just 1 strike away from getting out of the bottom of the 8th and moving to the top of the 9th. Runner goes, and the pitch is fouled off over the first base dugout and out of play. Stever, originally from Cedarburg, Wisconsin, where he attended Cedarburg High School, where he was first-team All-State as a wide receiver and a defensive back. And he was actually the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel State Football Player of the Year.
A lot of multi-sport athletes on this Whitecaps club.
It's really unbelievable. This year it was moved to the rotation with Indiana as Roberts fouls this one back. So he continues to battle Stever. Made 13 starts this year for the Hoosiers, went 3-4 with a 4.61 ERA through 68 and a third. And like we talked about earlier, struck out 53 opposing batters, walked just 6 of them. The problem, though, was giving up hits. Gave up 78 hits and 10 home runs, so that goes back to throwing so many strikes that it gives opponents a good chance to hit him. This one hit on the ground up the middle. Moving to his left is Graffinino. He'll step on second for the force, and that will end the bottom of the 8th inning. So when we come back, it'll be the top of the 9th and the Whitecaps' last chance. And I think it's the guys they want up at the plate. Mickey Gasper, Michael Curry, Cesar Trejo due up. That's 3-4-5 in the Whitecaps order. We move to the top of the 9th. 5-4 the score here at Veterans Field. Anglers on top of the Whitecaps. Keep it right here. You're locked in to Brewster Whitecaps baseball.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wedeel and Aiden Doyle.
Back here at Veterans Field in Chatham, where the Whitecaps are down to their last 3 outs. It'll be Mickey Gasper, Michael Curry, and Cesar Trejo due up for Brewster. Here in the top of the 9th inning, they trail by 1 run, 5-4 the score here. Anglers on top of the Whitecaps. Mickey Gasper leading things off. Defensive switch for the Anglers as Gasper takes a first pitch breaking ball for ball 1. Mason Coppins in to left field. He replaces Nick Patton, who moves to first base, who replaces Austin Edens. 1-0 the count on Gasper. This fastball hits him in the foot, and he'll head on down to first base. So the Whitecaps have the leadoff man aboard here in the 9th inning.
And Gasper, that's the 3rd time he's reached base so far in this game. Had a couple of singles before that, and of course a pair of runs driven into this game. And now that's gonna be it. That's his final line because he's being called back to the dugout for a pinch runner. They're gonna send out Hunter Bishop to run for him.
Say it looks from this angle to be Hunter Bishop, the outfielder out of Arizona State University. Michael Curry digging in for the Whitecaps. Designated hitter out of the University of Georgia. The first pitch to Curry. Fastball cut on and missed. He chased that one well upstairs for strike number 1.
That defensive switch means that if there is a bottom of the 9th, Coppins will be due up to lead off the inning for the Anglers.
And now Curry will call time. It's still DeGroat out on the mound for the Anglers. This is his second inning of work. So Bishop running for Gasper at first, and the 0-1 pitch to Curry misses outside, evens the count at 1-1. Curry, a big right-handed slugger for the Whitecaps. Lifts this one in the air down the right field line. The first baseman, Patton, giving chase, and he'll run out of room. So that one drops foul. So now a 1-2 count on Curry.
Another big spot for Michael Curry. It seems like he has been coming up in a lot of tough situations so far this season where he's been counted on, and more often than not, I think he's been able to do what's been requested of him. But now he's going to try and move this runner over, and Hunter Bishop get him into scoring position with Trejo due up on deck.
Curry's a guy who can certainly give the Whitecaps the lead with just one swing. 1-2 count, and the pitch from DeGroat. Runner takes off, swung on and missed, throw down to second. In time, they get Hunter Bishop at second, so it's a strike him out, throw him out. And just like that, the Whitecaps are down to their last out.
Well, that's one of the most exciting plays in baseball, right? The strike him out, throw him out double play. Nails him there.
And now Cesar Trejo will dig in for the Brewster Whitecaps. He's 1 for 4 on his day. Singled in the 5th inning. Reached on an error in the 1st. But has been retired in his other 2 at-bats. The Whitecaps down to their last out. And the first pitch to Trejo. Fastball misses high and outside for ball 1. DeGroat working from the windup. Kicks and the 1-0. Fastball skips home for ball 2.
Trejo does have 1 home run early in the season, if you're wondering about tying the score with 1 swing. That came back on the 22nd against Wareham 2 nights ago.
2-0 count, 2 down in the top of the 9th inning, and the pitch from DeGroat. Fastball cut on and missed by Trejo, just blew it right past him for strike number 1.
And Cesar Trejo had game-tying home run in his eyes there when he swung at that pitch, gave it a rip, but it was a fastball up that he couldn't get.
2-1 the count, and the pitch from DeGroat. Fastball right on the outer edge, and the Whitecaps are down to their last strike. Anglers fans here at Veterans Field clapping, trying to get this Anglers pitcher, DeGroat, pumped up. 2-2 the count, 2 down, and the pitch. Fastball cut on and missed, and the Anglers take this one 5-4. Cesar Trejo strikes out swinging to end the ball game, and the Whitecaps drop this one 5-4. The Anglers snap their 4-game losing streak. They move to 4-2 at home, whereas the Whitecaps move to 2-3-1 on the road. Whitecaps move to 1-1-1 against the Eastern Division, and the Chatham Anglers pick up their first win against an Eastern Division opponent. Carter, Coach Shevchik called this the biggest game of the season thus far for the Brewster Whitecaps, and obviously not the result that Coach Shevchik was hoping for.
Yeah, it's tough, and you really feel for Jonathan Stever, who puts together such an incredible performance out of the pen. He would have been the winning pitcher if Brewster had been able to rally in the 9th, not able to get it. Instead, Paulie Milto's going to get straddled with the loss for Brewster. It's a tough loss for sure. I mean, they left 7 runners on base to Chatham's 4. You're thinking about that, but you're also thinking about how Brewster, when they got that 3-0 lead, a lot of those plays that led to those runs were some fluke plays in the infield. So a game that was on a knife edge tonight. We saw some exciting plays. The play of the game was from Artis out in center field off the bat of Daughtris in the 8th inning. That really, you could say, won the game for the Anglers. And now Brewster's just going to have to regroup. Their first loss to a non-Kettleer team this season, and just try and go out and play 2 at home tomorrow.
Yeah, 3 games coming up against the Bourne Braves. That's a real good chance to kind of recapture the momentum they had earlier on, taking both of their first 2 games at home this season before dropping to the Katuitt Kettleers. And then here at Veterans Field to the Chatham Anglers, a tough loss to swallow indeed. Obviously, Lingenfelter was supposed to be the starting pitcher, the big arm out of the University of Tennessee, and Whitecaps fans who were looking forward to seeing him never got the chance, as he was scratched after making a few warm-up pitches with some upper body discomfort. Paulie Milto came in for the Whitecaps, went 2 2/3, gave up 6 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned, walked 3 and struck out 2. And like you mentioned, Carter, no more can be said about Jonathan Stever, who was absolutely brilliant in relief for the Whitecaps today. 5 1/3, 2 hits, scoreless ball, no walks, 8 strikeouts. Really gave this Whitecaps offense a chance to win the game. But once again, Carter, with runners in scoring position, bases loaded situations, this Whitecaps offense fails to bring home a big hit.
Yeah, and it's tough because I think they put together good at-bats in those spots today. Remember, we were talking about that strange 6-4 double play off the bat of Smith in the 5th inning, and then the diving play to end the 8th inning into center field by Artis. One lucky defensive play and one just exceptional play to stop those opportunities for Brewster.
The big play in this game ended the top of the 8th inning. We'll take you through that 8th inning. Nick Dunn, who's pinch hitting, led off the inning with a walk. Marty Costas reached on an error, which moved Dunn to third. So 1st and 3rd, nobody out. Kuhn struck out. Then Taylor, who was pinch hitting, walked. Bases loaded, 1 out. Then Graffinino struck out swinging. And with 2 down and the bases loaded in a 1-run ball game, Kyle Daughtris put a charge into one to left center field. And Angler center fielder DJ Artis robbed him of extra bases with an absolutely unbelievable head-first diving catch to end the inning. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, our very own Maura Sheridan will have Coach Jamie Shevchik and hopefully Jonathan Stever as well. Keep it right here. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball.
Don't go anywhere. The Whitecaps postgame show is coming up right after this.
That was huge for us. It's huge for the momentum going into tomorrow.
Only on the Brewster Whitecaps Radio Network.
Back here at Veterans Field in Chatham, where the Brewster Whitecaps drop their first game against a Eastern Division opponent 5-4 to the Chatham Anglers. And right now we'll send it down to the third member of our crew, Maura Sheridan, who's with Jonathan Stever, who is fantastic in relief today for the Whitecaps.
All right, absolutely great game for you today. Your team didn't get the win, but what was working for you out there on the mound?
Mostly just attacking with the fastball. To locate that and sort of pitch off that throughout my whole outing was really the key to it.
Your teammate, Paulie Milto, didn't have the best start. What are you going to say to him to kind of get him going that he has?
I mean, he just has to have a short memory. It was kind of a spot start. You didn't know he was going to pitch until right before the game. So, I mean, he'll flush it. He's a competitor. He'll go out there and back and be ready next time.
2 losses in a row for you guys. How do you guys bounce back for the next one?
We got a doubleheader tomorrow, so just got to get up for that and just hopefully get over these 2 losses quick and then be ready for tomorrow.
All right, thanks so much.
Thanks, Maura. That was Jonathan Stever, reliever today for the Brewster Whitecaps. He took over after Paulie Milto departed and really kept the Whitecaps in this game, going 5 1/3, just 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts. Carter, you and I have talked about it at length thus far, but Jonathan Stever, without Stever, not only do they really not have a shot at winning this game, but he did a great service by, in a game where they lost their starting pitcher, not making them use too many bullpen arms.
Yeah, especially when you got to play 2 the very next day. You got the doubleheader at home tomorrow. Only used 2 arms, just Milto and Stever, just the 2 Hoosiers, and that was it for Jamie Shevchik. And that is, if you're going to find a silver lining from this game, that's it. But they are ready to go. They're well prepared to take on the Bourne Braves twice tomorrow. But I really think the role of a long reliever who can come in and get you a lot of innings is one of the more It's one of the least glamorous roles in baseball, I think. And I'm not so sure it should be that way. It's extremely valuable to a team for all the reasons that we've been describing. And Jonathan Stever, listen, he didn't get the win, didn't get any decision tonight, and the Whitecaps fell 5-4 to Chatham. But there's no doubt in my mind that Jamie Shevchik's going to remember this game. I mean, this was a terrific performance in a tough circumstance for Stever.
Yeah, Jonathan Stever really earned himself some brownie points, I guess, for the Whitecaps and Coach Jamie Shevchik. You know, obviously he's a little nervous coming into his first appearance just a few days ago and really got rocked by his first 3 batters, but then bounced back nicely.
Yep.
And he took that momentum from that last appearance into this second appearance and was absolutely brilliant like we've talked about. And right now, Maura Sheridan is heading right over with Coach Jamie Shevchik, who it's got to be a little bittersweet when you're talking about Jonathan Stever's appearance today. And right now we'll send it down to the third member of our crew, Maura Sheridan. Maura, take it away.
All right, Coach, you had to make the last-minute decision to take Zach Lingenfelder out of the game. What's the word on him?
I think he has a strained oblique. That's kind of what he felt something in the bullpen on his last pitch and tried to go out and just couldn't do it. So we're going to obviously rest him for a couple days and see if it gets any better, and hopefully it's minor, but if it is a strained oblique, it might be a couple weeks. Who knows?
Stever had a great game for you guys, kind of in the bullpen. What's the feeling on him for the rest of the season?
He's still going to pitch in the bullpen. He's going to pitch in similar situations like we are right now. Now, if we lose, Zach for the summer, then that changes a lot of things. So I think the perfect role for him is exactly what you saw today. Come in early on and being able to stretch it out for a handful of innings.
You had said before the game that you really thought this team was going to be able to take advantage of the Anglers bullpen. That didn't happen today. What are you seeing from the bats, and how can they improve?
We had opportunities to score runs, and we didn't. We had the bases loaded. We struck out in big situations where all we had to do was put the ball in play. So it wasn't so much what they did to us is what we shot ourselves in the foot. We just didn't produce when we had opportunities to. We should be still playing right now if we can just put the baseball on the ground. So that sums it all up.
All right, thanks so much, Coach. Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, Maura. That was Whitecaps coach Jamie Shevchik, and the Whitecaps fall to 4-4-1 on the season with this 5-4 loss at the hands of the Chatham Anglers. You heard it here first. Zach Lingenfelter, Coach Shevchik thinks it's a strained oblique, and that is not good news for this Brewster Whitecaps team. A team that took an interesting approach this year with their pitching staff after being decimated last year with players leaving early due to pitching limits. or innings limits or injuries themselves, one of their best arms on the shelf for at least a few days, possibly longer. Not what you want to hear if you're a Whitecaps fan.
Yeah, you never want to hear Jamie Shevchik say, well, if we lose Zach for the summer, that could change things. Obviously, there's still a long way to go, and he said it could be minor, but it could be more serious. And that's tough because, losing a game to Chatham is one thing. Losing a 97-mile-per-hour starter is an entirely different prospect. And so that's tough to hear. We'll see exactly how he goes, and obviously he won't be ready for the doubleheader tomorrow. But that's tough to hear if you're a Whitecaps fan. You never want a guy to be injured. And oblique injuries can be pretty tricky for pitchers.
No, oblique injuries for sure. One of the more difficult ones to rehab because it's such a unique muscle and has such an important role in the pitching process or even the swinging process when you're a hitter. So not the injury that you ever want to hear if you're a baseball player. Tomorrow, though, the Whitecaps have a chance to bounce back against the Bourne Braves, a double header at Stony Brook Field in Brewster. It'll be Joe Molitier out of Monmouth University going in game 1, and the new guy, Davis Daniel, out of Auburn University, getting the ball in game number 2. What are you looking for from Molitier in his second start, and then obviously Daniel in his first appearance tomorrow in a Whitecaps uniform?
Well, I think whenever you're throwing a doubleheader, obviously it'll just be the 2 7-inning games, but you want length. Molitier went 5 innings in his previous start. That was also in a doubleheader. Coincidentally, it was in Katuitt. Gave up 8 hits in those 5 innings. Only 2 runs. Only one of them was earned, but you want to make sure that he can keep the bat off the ball when he's going up against these Bourne Braves hitters. Bourne obviously having a good season so far, came into tonight in first place in the Western Division. So you want length, you want control, you want what Jonathan Stever gave the team tonight for the Whitecaps. So that's, I'm sure, what Jamie Shevchik will be looking for, but it's a doubleheader. It'll be all hands on deck, and it'll be some great baseball tomorrow.
A big day for the Whitecaps tomorrow, doubleheader at home against the Bourne Braves before going on the road Monday against the Bourne Braves once again at Doran Park. That's a makeup game from earlier on in the season that was rained out. And obviously a big day for the Whitecaps tomorrow, trying to bounce back from 2 consecutive losses, one at the hands of the Kettleers yesterday, and obviously this one to the Chatham Anglers today. I think that'll just about wrap it up for Carter and I here from Veterans Field in Chatham. Final score, Chatham Anglers 5, Brewster Whitecaps 4. Big takeaway, Zach Lingenfelter out indefinitely with what Coach Jamie Shevchik believes to be a strained oblique. Thank you all for tuning in to another edition of Whitecaps Baseball. We'll be back tomorrow with a 2 o'clock start with the doubleheader, so we'll be on air at 1:45 for the official pregame show of the Brewster Whitecaps. For Carter Woodeel, I'm Aiden Doyle. Thank you all for tuning in to another edition of Brewster Whitecaps Baseball, and have a wonderful and safe Saturday night.